G'day and welcome back to the 2026 UNCLOUD Victorian Short Course Championships. This is session 4. It's the last session. Sorry for the small delay there in broadcast. We've got the first event underway. We're probably about halfway through with the mixed 200-metre medley relay, para and able bod.
Yeah, so certainly one of our more fun events, you would say. It is one of those great opportunities for our para swimmers to join forces with their able-bodied teammates and get to race alongside one another. And also one of the only events that we swim that is a handicapped event on the start. So we will be looking for this race and these gaps to be closing as all of the freestylers are about to take to the water. The final 50-metre swim. There will be a little bit of a race and a chase home. And the goal with that handicap start is that it will be literally a race to the finish. This event is still scored by the first team to touch the wall. We do have 2 timed finals in this one though, so keep an eye on this second heat of athletes about to begin. And we've got a race now between lanes 4 and 5.
Yeah, lanes 4 and 5, Bendigo Hawks and Traralgon. And it does seem to be Traralgon that touches the wall first in 325.71, followed by the Bendigo Hawks in 329.21, and out of lane 6, 330.81.
So our second of the time finals here has begun. Now, we need this handicap to match up with that of the first heat. So our slowest entry time was a 3:33. So this team will be leaving about 43 seconds, I believe they mentioned, behind to be nice and close on that finish time. The time they are looking to beat is 3:25. 3:25, quickest time started so far. So swimming out of lane 1, they'll be the first team to set off. That will be the team from Geelong. And then we'll see a much smaller gap between all of these next few teams whose times are a lot closer on entry.
Yeah, 52 seconds start that was. And lane 1. A couple of seconds later, lane 2's fired off.
And you will see that quick dash by our timekeepers to go and move that backstroke starting ledge out of the way. We couldn't conduct these competitions without all of our incredible volunteers. So a quick little shout out for our final session to those incredible, helpful volunteers helping us be able to run this championship meet.
And all the swimmers are in the pool now, but we do have lane 4, touching the wall first. Lane 4 and 3. We've got Ballarat Gold and Warrnambool pretty close there.
Yeah, they're still trying to chase down that team in lane 1 who left first in this particular heat. And each of these 50s, what you will notice is we should be seeing these teams just make up a little bit more ground, and then hopefully around the freestyler, there shouldn't be too much difference across the pool.
Yeah, 211.15. It's lane one. It's got a bit wet there. Lane one into the water first, followed by lane three, which is Warrnambool, 218.07. Lane four, Ballarat Gold, 221.29 as they're off for their second last lap.
Yeah, copping a little bit of splash here is kind of a safety risk as part of our team on deck. When we come into these relays, everyone is racing so hard, so quick. We see a lot of splash and dash, and we're definitely seeing this race tighten up. Every team now into their last 25 of the butterfly as we hit our freestylers to race for home.
Yeah. They are powering along in lanes 1 and 2. We've got Geelong and Traralgon battling it out. It does seem to be Traralgon that is in the lead. Maybe actually out of lane 4 is Ballarat Gold. I just did miss that. And it is Traralgon that touches the wall first, 322.33. Lane 4, Ballarat Gold, 322.92. And out of lane 1, we've got Geelong with 327.95.
So plenty of energy here as we move into the first individual event of our final session in the water. Now we have event 71, the Women's Open 200-metre individual medley. Just a reminder, there are 6-time finals in this one, but we will keep an eye on the times. We have this split into 2 age categories for our medals. You'll see 14 and under medals handed out, as well as our 15 and overs. So we are missing a few of our swimmers out of heat 1, which gives us a race of the outside lane. So this is certainly a challenging one for the girls who are contesting this. Tessa Newstead out of lane 2 from East Gippsland, and then Evie Webb over in lane 6 from Bendigo East. Normally when we see just the 2 athletes in a race, they're side by side, but these girls, they've split apart by 3 lanes through the centre. So really going to be looking to swim their own race, really follow their own race strategy. At the halfway point through this 200 IM, it is Tessa Newstead leading over Evie. But I do know Evie quite a good breaststroker, so we'll see if she can make up a little bit of ground here.
Still Tessa Newstead just out in front. Like Harley was saying, they probably couldn't be able to see each other from that side of the pool. Pretty hard.
Yeah, I think the only opportunity you really have when there's a split like this will be at this next point, and that's the turn. You might see Tessa just able to have a bit of a look across. And she'll notice that she is leading the way there by about 3 seconds as we turn into the freestyle. That's quite a gap to try and make up.
Yeah, it is. You can see as she's going through the pool with her freestyle like there, she is breathing to her left-hand side, keeping an eye on her opponent to make their final turn. Does seem to be Tessa in the lead. And she will take first in 2 minutes 40.78, followed by Evie, 2:43.81.
About to get underway for Heat 2 of the women 200 metre individual medley, as they're off now, almost down that first 25 metre mark.
Yeah, quite a bit of speed coming out of lane 7 here in the butterfly leg. As we go through, just in these IMs, there are a lot of tactics and strategies that will be in play. But Georgie Vague setting this one up nicely. She'll go through in a 32.33, just behind Bryn Kirk of Wodonga City down in lane 2. So not a lot between the girls in the outside lanes through the first 50.
So we've got lane 7 taking that first turn nice and quickly there, followed closely behind lanes 2 and 3 there as well. So quite a bit of a gap between them and the rest of the pack there.
Absolutely. We've just seen Katie Macklin in lane 3, the swimmer from Seymour, start to push up in the backstroke. So she's using that one as one of her strengths. Try and create a bit of space. But it is still Georgie almost building on each of these 50s. Doesn't look like she's going to be slowing down in this breaststroke either.
It's a nice quick turn there for Georgie as she continues along with that next 25 metres of breaststroke. But catching up there is also in lane number 3, Katie there. Pretty neck and neck between the two from what I can see here.
Yeah, they've come into that final stroke almost together, both turning at the 2-minute mark. There was a good breaststroke from Bryn Kirk in lane 2. She's also joined them just 4/100ths of a second behind. So 0.1 between our first 3 swimmers. Looked like Georgie got off that wall probably to the best of the 3. And she's going to hit the turn first. Really gained a lot of distance off that one. You can just see that flutter of kicks as she breaks out. And that's really separated her from the other 2 girls.
Absolutely, and it seems to be that she's going to hit that wall first, but not long after is 2, then 3. Very close finish for second and third there. So we had Georgie Vague with a 2:36.34 in first place, then second Bryn Kirk with a 2:37.57.
Take your marks.
Heat 3 now as it kicks off. Swimmers are underway with their first stroke in the individual medley, the butterfly. Got a nice good start there from lanes 7 and 8. That's Pippa Brown and Celeste Ellis there as they're approaching the 50-metre mark.
A battle of that top end of the pool, 5, 7 and 8. It will be lane 5. Astrid from Ballarat, 31.23, going into the backstroke leg of this race. Still out in front.
It's going to be very even hitting that wall there between 5 and 8 there. Both touching that wall at the same time, and then coming up out of that, out of the water as well into that final leg of the backstroke portion of this event. Just coming in to see who's going to be touching that wall first.
Yeah, out of lane 5, Astrid in front, ever so slightly in front of Celeste. 107.97 as they enter the breaststroke leg.
Breaststroke now. They are looking very even. I think Celeste is a little bit ahead there now, from what I can gather, as she turns and continues on with her breaststroke. And it's gone back to even again. I think actually lane 5 Astrid Buchanan from Ballarat is just almost catching up to her again.
Yeah.
So she's just, yeah, half a length behind her there. Hitting that wall going into the freestyle portion of this medley. It's going to be interesting to see between the two who is going to take home that first timed spot.
It will be Pippa Celeste making the turn first as she heads back for her final 25 ahead of Astrid Buchanan from Ballarat. Astrid may be making up a little bit of ground here, but I don't think it will be enough. It will be Celeste Ellis out of lane 8, hitting the wall at 230.65 ahead of Astrid Buchanan, 231.87. And in third spot, we have Abby O'Mara from Geelong in 236.57.
You love an outside winner, don't you?
Absolutely.
Take your marks.
Underway now with our fourth heat of 6 for the girls. Leading us through crossing lane 6 from Warrnambool, Zoe Benson. Looking the goods early on. Keep an eye on the girls. In the middle of this one though, some pretty good breaststrokers coming up. They'll be eagerly awaiting that third 50.
Lanes 2 and lane 6 both touching that wall for that first, into their second bit of a backstroke there. Coming out fairly evenly, so that's Isabel Kilborn from Ballarat and Zoe Benson from Warrnambool.
So it was Zoe with the early lead. Some nice underwaters from Isabel. Just pushed her way ahead in the backstroke. Do they have enough distance between themselves and the centre to hold off these fast approaching breaststrokers who already down this first 25 have closed in on them?
They've closed the gap quite well there, especially lane 4 there. Miller Abley from Bendigo East, she really closed that gap quite well.
Yeah, she's continuing that momentum down this second 25. She did get past Isabel on the first lap, trying to hold in there, but it will be Miller who turns in first for the freestyle. She's got almost a second between herself and Isabel Kilborn out of lane 2. Zoe Benson still holding on in third place spot. No one else could close in that third 50.
25 to go now with lane number 4, Miller Abley there just out in front by half a body's length. Not much in it at all.
But just proving to be too good through the breaststroke. Miller will take this one out in a 233.79 ahead of Isabel, 235.74. And then Miller said in lane 5, storms home through that final 50 of freestyle to finish in third, 235.95.
into heat 5 of 6 now, as it's underway for the 200-meter individual medley, as we've got the next lot of heats underway. Turning out that the breaststroke seems to be the one that really can change the trajectory of the race. They are on their butterfly, their second 25 of butterfly at the moment. Who's hit the wall first?
That would be Hannah Buchanan out of lane 3, 30.31. Not far behind is Zoe Jennings from Geelong. They're into their backstroke.
Hannah Buchanan doing quite well there, keeping that lead as she's going into the second 25 metres, 50 metres of backstroke.
Yep.
As she's approaching that wall, but in lane 4, Zoe Jennings is doing quite well. She's almost matched her there, and also lane 8 as well. Sophie Ryan from Warrnambool. Here we go into the breaststroke, which is going to be the deciding factor on if anyone makes their way up into this race, takes away that gap.
They're still pretty close between lanes 3 and 8. We have Sophie Ryan and Hannah Buchanan battling it out at the moment. As they've got about 15 metres left to swim in this breaststroke leg of the relay. Hannah Buchanan slightly in front there over Taryn Aldred from Geelong. They're into their freestyle now. And it looks like Hannah Buchanan still out in front, gaining a little bit of time. Hannah Buchanan rounds the final turn. It is Hannah Buchanan out of lane 3, powering along. Not far ahead of Taryn Aldred from Geelong. It will be these two in the finish. And it does look like Hannah Buchanan, and she touches on at 227.57 ahead of Taryn Aldred from Geelong, 228.56. And out of lane 4, we've got Zoe Jennings from Geelong in 231.30.
So we reach our 6th and final heat in the women's 200-metre individual medley. Got a lot of these girls coming back to race again. Once again, a little bit of a head-to-head here between Ava Candy and Arabella Johnson, who we saw in that 400 IM. We know Ava, or we expect her to take it out really fast through the first half of this race, the butterfly and the backstroke. And then hopefully we'll see a few more of these girls finishing stronger in the second half. But we have halved that distance to a 200. So we'll see who has the stamina through these 8 laps of racing.
Yeah, just touching the wall first. It is Ava, ever so slightly ahead. They round the second half of their backstroke. Nicole Briscoe out in lane 6 seems to have caught Ava. Oh, no, lane 2. Claire Matheson, Ballarat Gold, ahead at the moment as they get into their breaststroke leg.
Yeah, Claire, great backstroker. She won her age group 100 backstroke in a 1:02 today, so we knew that her backstroke was going to be fire. She now needs to hold off these breaststrokers who are starting to push through the field here, and it tightens up across the middle, lanes 2 through to 6. Really going to be racing when we hit that freestyle. We've got a range of different qualities coming from these athletes. Nicole Briscoe, she's super experienced in backing up over and over and over, and she's really a reliable athlete to be on time. We know that some of these girls are going to finish really strong, but it's super tight coming into the final 50.
And it will be Claire Matheson ahead ever so slightly at the moment as they head into the last bit of their freestyle.
as they turn for their final lap. All those feet just went around almost identically. Looks like Arabella Johnson, maybe the slight advantage coming off the wall, but Claire Matheson fighting hard, as is Ava Candy, who can put their head down and get the finish. It's going to be close. They stroke in.
And it will be Ava Candy from Ballarat, touching at 221.74, ahead of Arabella Johnson from...
All right, up to event 72, the men's 200-metre individual medley. We've got three athletes in this race in the three middle lanes. We've got Tom McMahon from Geelong, Bryce Scott in lane 4 from Ballarat, and Jack Hayes from Surf Coast Swimming in lane number 5. All pretty even at this point in the race for the butterfly portion as they're going into their last 15 metres of that. All very even across the backstroke portion as well. It seems to be an even race with just now Jack Hayes going out in front, touching that wall first for the first 25 metres of the backstroke portion.
So we've seen some incredibly close racing out of our final heat of the girls, and the boys that come into this one really close on entry. They're still sitting together in a tight little bunch. It will be lane 5, Jack Hayes just holding out on lanes 4 and 3. But some good underwaters there, particularly Tom McMahon. He popped up almost right alongside Jack after that split stroke.
Nice and quick turnaround there for Jack Hayes from Surf Coast Swimming there, as he's just about, I'd say, a length in front of his competitor Bryce Scott there, as we're going into the breaststroke, the freestyle portion of this race. We see Jack Hayes out front there, but coming up a little bit quicker now is Tom McMahon, making up some lost pace there. To the final 25 of the first heat of 5. It's going to be Jack Hayes hitting the wall first with a
222.98, followed by lane 3, 226.48. And out of lane 4, we have Bryce Scott from Ballarat at 227.19.
Moving into heat 2 of the men's 200-metre individual medley, their butterfly portion of the race. First to surface the water is from lane 4, Cooper Scott from Wodonga City.
And Cooper will.
And he is the one, that hit the wall first, did he?
Yeah, he did. 2:28 seconds 35 out of lane 4. Pretty even at the moment out there on the far side of the pool, probably lanes 4 and 5.
Still got a bit of a steady lead there for Cooper Scott. We'll see if he does hit the wall first again. Yep,
Yeah,
so he's
split time is 104.18. Lane 3 not far behind, 106.82. Lane 5, 107.81. So get into their breaststroke leg. A lot of the coaches making a bit of noise now. Always good to hear. Bit of energy. Final session.
They've definitely made up some space there. Lanes 5 and 6 have come into the contest now, going into that freestyle portion of the event.
And it will be Cooper Scott starting his freestyle leg first. Not far behind, we have Cormac Flynn. Cooper Scott gets into his final 25. It is all Cooper Scott powering along. And he will be the first one to touch at a 2:13.32. With a few seconds behind lanes 2, 5 and 6, all pretty close. Yeah, it'll be 5 with 2:20.62, followed by lane 6, which is Cormac, 2:20.80.
Into the water now with our third heat. I have just written a quick note on our time from the previous heat, 2:13, which would rank Cooper Scott in the top 4 swimmers coming into today. So hopefully the boys out of heat 5 can improve on their entry time. Otherwise he might be able to sneak a top placing and secure himself some points for his club out of an early heat. Now speaking of earlier heats doing well, over in lane 7, Arki Vardy had a great swim in this morning's session, dropped a lot of time off, and he's flown through that butterfly.
Yeah, he has flown through the butterfly. It's given him a pretty good lead going to his breaststroke. He is an easy couple of seconds ahead of everyone else here, setting the pace out front. Ahead of Dane Schneider for Ballarat Gold. He seems to be in second place. But it is Arki into the freestyle first. He gets a split time, 1:41, about 4 seconds in front of Dane Schneider now.
Yeah, that's certainly a big gap to try and reduce through the breaststroke. Even our strong breaststrokers are going to make that difficult. Dane Schneider, though, needs to make pretty easy work of it. He has closed that gap almost by 2 seconds on the first 25. And he'll pop up from the split stroke almost alongside Arki. And those two now, the two to beat, getting ready to move and progress through to the freestyle. It will be Dane who touches the wall first.
And just ahead, lane 6, 7. Dane touches 1:42, not far behind, 1:44. So they get into their freestyle now. It will be Dane Schneider about to round up his second last lap. He brings it home, probably a couple of seconds in front of Arki Vardy. He does still have time to close this gap, but it is Dane Schneider all the way. He will touch first in a 2:15.59, followed by Arki Vardy from Sale, 2:18.12, and out in lane 3, Aaron Rudge from Shepparton, 2:18.61. Heat 4 underway now. A lot of power as you get to the last couple. You tend to see that these swimmers do power out a little bit quicker.
Yeah, there's certainly a little bit of a different strategy as we come through. We see a few more of our older athletes starting to partake in these later heats with slightly quicker seed times. And therefore, they have that confidence, they have that training knowledge of where they sit, where their fitness is, and they can certainly attack these 200s a little better.
Yeah, attacking they will. It is Miller Scott attacking it at the moment. He is in the lead. Pretty evenly spread out at the moment. Lanes 4, 5, and 6. Maybe 8. Lane 8 as well in the mix. Noah Stevens, though, does get his split time first, but not far behind is out of lane 1, Brandon Wilson.
Yeah, I certainly did, and I was just about to say, Adam, I really enjoyed the way that Noah Stevens built through that backstroke. He just increased that stroke rate under the flags and had that ability to get himself onto the wall with a lot of momentum, and you really want to utilize that back to breaststroke turn here. Coming into the breaststroke leg, we do know this is an ever-important lap, and keep an eye on lane 1, Brandon. He is a great breaststroker. We've seen him compete at national opens in these events, the breaststroke, so not surprising that he has just gained a nice lead there.
Yeah, he's really utilised that breaststroke, and he's completed that split into the freestyle at 1:40.22, at least 3 seconds ahead of second spot, and he definitely will round out his second last lap by coming back in first position now.
Yeah, I think he set the pace. It's going to be a little bit too much for the boys over in lanes 5 and 6 to make up that deficit. So coming into touch, it will be Brandon.
In a 2:11.43, followed by Thomas Costello in lane 6, 2:13.11, and Noah Stevens from Geelong, 2:15.15.
Take your marks.
Heat 4 or 5 underway.
So this is our 5th and final heat, the last one of the boys in the water, racing for those medals. The time set out of heat 4, 2:11 by Brandon Wilson, stands as your quickest time so far. It's going to take a big effort from the boys here to try and drop down under that. Fastest qualifiers sit at a 2:12 as they go through the butterfly. Leading us through was lane 3, Zayden Burton. He's had a great weekend. He always starts off so well. He's got so much of that front end speed.
Yeah, he's done well there. And we've got the outside late again. Cooper Sutherland from Ballarat Gold. These two out of lanes 3 and 8, looking pretty even. Will be interesting to see what happens in this next leg with breaststroke, as we've seen a couple of upsets in the last couple of races.
We certainly have. They've really turned up the heat through the backstroke to try and give themselves as much of an advantage as possible. We want to keep an eye out for a few of these boys through the centre. But we have seen a lot of races over the weekend. In particular, a lot of these guys coming out of the middle lanes have been racing over and over and over. So do they have the legs left to catch up to the early pace set out of lane 3 and 8?
Yeah, I think so. They're still maintaining at the moment. We don't really see any sort of changes. I think it will be Zayden Burton touching on getting into his freestyle leg next. Yep, followed by a couple of second gap there to Cooper Sutherland as they move towards completing this race.
Cooper, he does swim some of those longer events. We'll be trying to catch up, but the whole of Traralgon looks to be standing on the side of the pool cheering on Zayden Burton. This has been a great swim for him. He's not slowing down anytime soon. In fact, he looks like he's increased his pace. The race for third is where a lot of the action's going to come from, but first is signed, sealed and delivered.
Yeah, Zayden Burden gets it in 209.71, followed by lane 8. Cooper Sutherland does get second, 214.74. And Blake Scott from Ballarat getting third in 214.98.
Which means our earlier heats, we're actually going to see some medals come from. Previous heats, number 211. We also saw a 213 come out of heat number 2. So medals from all over the place in the 200 IM. Quite a few upsets on session 4. So from 200 IMs into 50-metre backstroke, this is event 73. The women's 18 and over, 50. We've got 4-time finals in this event. So quite a lot of qualifiers for our 18 and overs in the 50 back this afternoon. Good to see a lot of our swimmers who have returned for countries. We do love that tradition. As they come through under the flags, we'll be lane 5. Gemma Bond smashing this one. She's going to easily take the win there, 36.14, well under her entry time. Second will go to lane 3, Diana Dobell of Sale. And then lane 4 in a 37.50 for Madison Parry of Traralgon.
And we're now into heat 2 of the 50-metre backstroke, the girls 18 and over. Got some nice speed out there, all quite even across the race thus far. Nice and quick one. Love the 50-metre events. First one to turn there, lane 4, which was Isabel Campbell from Gisborne. Be interesting to see across the board who will get the win from this one. Lane number 4 with the
Yeah, 34.83, followed by lane 5. That'll be Claudia with a 35.54, and out of lane 2, Alice Kennedy. Geelong Sharks, 36.07. Heat 3 of 4 underway now. Pretty consistent start cross, but if I had to pick, it would be lane 3 in the lane 4 in the lead now. That is Ruby Paulette from Traralgon. We'll see if she can get it. I think it'll be lane 3. Yep. 31.78, followed by Georgia from Kangaroo Flat, 32.32. And look at that, it's actually dead even there for third as well. Out of lane 4, 32.32. Is that right?
Take your marks.
Into the fourth and final heat of the girls 18 and over backstroke here. And again, it just seems to be nice and even across the pool here. The first one to touch that wall at the 25-metre mark was lane 5. But it'd be interesting to see who is the one who will take it home. It's looking like it's going to be lane 5.
Lane 5, 29.07, followed by lane 4. We've got Olivia Bally from Traralgon, 29.39, and lane 3 gets third, Nicolette Wright from Traralgon as well.
Moving along to our next event now. This is event 74, the men's 18 and over 50-metre backstroke. Just 3 heats in our men this evening. As we come down the first 25 for the boys here, it will be lane 4, just ahead of lane 5. Charles Gleeson turns first in front of Bo Turner. Both the boys from Warrnambool in the bright green, and they're going to be holding on to those placings as we come down under the flags. Can Bo put in a big reach onto the wall? Not quite. It will still be Charles Gleeson, 30.75 ahead of Bo Turner, 31.63. And then it was Jack Bennett from Ballarat Gold touching in third in a 33.31.
Often racing now, boys 18 and over 50-metre backstroke. Second heat of 3. Got 2 events this afternoon, which are 50 metres. Lane 4 looking to be in the lead. Aki Vardy racing again. Almost back-to-back races for Aki. And it will be Aki Vardy touching on in a 28.89, followed by Lachlan Patterson, 30.42, and out of lane 6, Aaron Rudge from Shepparton in 30.53.
And we're in for our third and final heat of the boys 18 and over 50-metre backstroke. About to get underway now. Taking their marks. And off they go for the last heat of the 3. Nice start across the board, but you can definitely tell there is a lot of pace in this race. Compared to the other 2, there was some fast, but everyone seems to be quite on par with each other. it's looking good here for a number across the middle. It's going to be a very, very close finish here. Lane 5 getting 25.86. That is Sebastian Christy Crane, and lane 4 in second, Ash Nichols, with a 25.97. So there wasn't too much in that score difference at all.
Underway now with our girls 12-13 years 100-metre breaststroke. This is event 75, and we are smashing through races this afternoon at our 2026 Victorian Country Short Course Championships here at the Gippsland Regional Aquatics Centre. A massive thank you to the Gippsland Region Swimming Clubs for putting on an incredible event, as well as our members of Swimming Victoria and our brilliant technical officials who make this all possible. A big shout out to those guys for donating their time so we can hold and host these championships. Out of this first heat, going through in a time of 40.91 at the halfway point will be Darby Hunter, the 12-year-old from Wangaratta. She's got a nice lead here over Matilda Canetti of Warrnambool, and still right up alongside Matilda, swimming out of lane 7, having a great job here from Seymour. Chloe Harvey-Bredden, she's right in that mix of the top athletes within Heat 1.
Nice little lead there, though, from lane 4 with Darby Hunter. She's definitely noticeably good at this type of event, the breaststroke, which seems to be one of the hardest strokes. Well, they all are, but for doing it for this length, it definitely is. Alrighty, we've got scores coming in now. Lane number 4 with Darby Hunter. She took out first with a score of a time of 1:27.66, and Matilda Conhedy with 1:31.45.
Take your marks.
And we're underway for Heat 2 of the breaststroke 100-metre finals. The 12-13 girls. Another good start here across the board. A few lanes missing here in this event.
Yeah, it certainly gets a little bit this way towards the end of competition. A lot of our athletes are going to be a little bit more fussy about what they compete in. Some of them, we do know that we have our state age championships coming up at the end of this month. So a lot of them are using this competition as a bit of a qualifying meet, trying to score some of those state times. If you do already have a state time in something, you might put your focus into an event coming up later on and maybe just be having a little bit longer of a rest right now, getting ready for that one. But certainly doing a great job here is lane 7, Frankie Gleeson of Gisborne. He's really pushing through. The girls here all entered around that 1:30 mark, so you'd love to see out of session 4 and our final events of the evening, a nice drop, a nice personal best, particularly for our youngsters.
As we're coming in now for the last 15 metres of this event, it's looking a little bit close for some of them, but definitely we've got a finisher now in lane 3 with a 1:28.35. That's Mia McGuffey, and
she'll finish just ahead of Frankie in a 1:28.95. And then it was lane 2, Layla Thompson, who touched in 3rd out of our second heat.
Take your marks.
Heat number 3 now for the girls 12-13 breaststroke, as we've got even playing field across the board now, but we'll see how things go as the race progresses. A nice turnaround there from lane number 4, Daisy Gilman-Rodder. They're keeping the pace.
There really isn't a lot separating 3 of the girls here between 4, 5 and 6 as they come into the 50-metre turn. Looks to be lane 6 who will get there just under the 40-second barrier. That is Madison Borthwick of Geelong. Turn through in a 39.58. And both girls in 4 and 5 though hot on her heels. And we've got there Emma Barclay and Daisy Gilliam-Rodder.
They're quite even, 4 and 5 there, even to the stroke. Which is quite interesting as they're turning around now. We see a clean getaway there from lane 6, Madison Borthwick, as they're coming home now. Picking up the pace a little bit in these last 15 metres.
So they will come down to touch on the wall, and Daisy gets in first. She had a great final 25, 123.77. She'll touch ahead of Madison, 125.38. And then lane 8 got her hands on the wall in third. Addison Prout of Traralgon in a 126.74.
Take your marks.
Heat 4 underway. Girls 12 and 13, 100-metre breaststroke. Crowd is really fired up this afternoon. We complete this first 25 metres. Could be anyone's race. The girls out of lane 6 and 7 seem to appear to be in front now. Lila Stevens from Warragul powering along. No, it will be Josie Richer, SGB, completing her first half of the race in first position, 38.17. Not far behind, we have Lila Stevens from Warragul. They come to the 75-metre mark. Now it still will be...
Not much between 6 and 3 here. It's very close between the two lanes. So we've got Lila Stevens and Josie Richer there. And we'll see, as I think it's going to be...
It'll be...
lane 6.
Yeah, Lila Stevens, 120.37, followed by Josie Richer, 121.50, and lane 4, Sophie McKenzie from Benalla, in 124.83. Final heat of the girls 12 and 13, 100-metre breaststroke underway now.
Yeah, this is one I'm pretty keen for. A lot of the girls in those middle lanes have just continued to drop time across this weekend. So keen to see what they can do for our 12, 13-year-olds. We do have 2 girls coming into this who can go sub 120. Very speedy for these youngsters. As we watch them through the first 25, it will be our lane 4 swimmer, Sophie Lee, leading the pace here as they come up to turn at halfway. Jung Quinn Cow looks to be sitting in second, with a race between the Geelong girls onto the wall for third.
Yeah, so get into the second half of the race. It is a battle between lanes 3 and 4. Jung Quinn and Sophie about to make their final turn. Does appear to be Sophie coming back for the final lap ahead of Jung Quinn from Ballarat.
I'm really exciting here as well because Sophie Lee is one of the youngest athletes in this field, just 12 years of age. So she'll get to come back and contest this event next year. Jung Quinn making a last-minute attempt to try and catch up on the final strokes.
And it will be Sophie Lee from Kangaroo Flat in a minute 16.45, followed by Jung Quinn in lane 3, minute 16.49. And out of lane 5, Jordan Camfield from Geelong, 119 flat.
And we're about to get underway for event 76, the boys 1300 metre breaststroke event. Just 3 athletes in this event here first, as they're going into their first 15 metres. Nice even across the board.
Yeah, so the 3 boys coming into this, all 132 swimmers. Always love to set little goals for the athletes, and I'm sure they have their own personal goals that they'd be speaking to their coaches about. But definitely one of them could be trying to break that 130 mark. Looking up at that board, being able to see a 129 would be pretty exciting for us as well. To come down to the 50-metre turn, setting himself up beautifully here is Edward Turner from Kangaroo Flat.
And he's maintained that little lead that he's got there, coming up first and nicely. Still, it could be anyone's race here between Neil and Edward there. But Edward is just out in front.
Well, surely he has to be a little bit pumped up after his teammate just won the girls' 12, 13-year-olds 100-metre breaststroke.
You'd want to be doing the same thing for their club, that's for sure. Coming in now to the final 15 metres of this race. He has got a full body length between him and second place, so it's going to be Edward Turner in lane 5 from Kangaroo Flat taking out the win for this race with a time of 1:30.63. So 2 seconds under, just like you said. Second place at 1:32.47 for Neil.
Take your marks.
We're underway for the second heat of the 12-13 100-metre breaststroke. Got a almost full lineup here. We're only missing 1 lane, so 7 athletes in this race. No, we say it's quite even consistently, but this one is quite even. Someone's starting to break away now in lane 4, I do believe. 4 and 5. Let's see.
About 0.4 separating the swimmers here. It was actually our lane 2 athlete, Cheng Min Han, who did touch the wall in front. Just that better timing of the finish and that last stroke into the turns, and it can make a big difference because he gained a lot of ground holding on to that momentum on the underwater, and he's really building through this third 25. He's taken kind of away from the rest of the group here.
He absolutely is. He is definitely keeping up that pace. It's a pace that he's held this whole race, actually, to be quite honest with you, and it's working in his favour here now, but it is going to be close between second and third as well, as we see the touch.
So it will be Cheng Min who hits the wall first in a 1:27.03. Not far behind in a 1:27.99 was Toby Rook of the Geelong Sharks, and then lane 3 hit the wall 1:29.67, and that will be Sonny Davis of Warrnambool.
Line 6, can you hold on to line replacement? Line 6. Take your marks.
Often racing. Heat 3 of 5. Boys 12-13, 100-metre breaststroke. Well, these boys be pretty tired by this time of the weekend.
As the athletes compete in more of these races, you can actually see the crowd growing bigger and bigger. I think everyone is part of those teams He's really trying to gather around the swimmers and keep that energy level high. There's a lot of support, particularly in the breaststroke. We love to see those cheers. Every time the swimmers pop up to take a breath, there's a really good opportunity to make sure they hear you. So certainly if you are in the crowd watching, it's time to start making a little bit of noise, in particular for our swimmer out in lane 6 who is flying through this one, Zain Zagul from Wodonga City. He's taken off down the third 25. He's got a nice little lead on lane 3. Swimmer from Geelong Sharks, Riley Armstrong, and then doing well out of lane 7. He had the early speed and he's trying to hold now is Ramindu Rowan Chandra.
It's actually going to be pretty close here. I think it's going to be lane 1 that gets it. It's 121.19. That's Harry Knight, followed by Zain Zahul from Wodonga, 123.58.
It's that lane 1 again. I just can't see it on the screen. He snuck through, and I think he snuck ahead of all the swimmers in that one as well. Sneaky outsiders, we love it.
Take your marks.
Heading into heat 4 now of the boys 12-13 breaststroke as they are underway. And we're seeing an even lineup now. As we take that first turn, the first 25 metres of the 100-metre race. First out was lane at number 3, Jack Lomax. Similarly, in lane 6, Zachary Gray, both hitting that wall first. I think it was 3 and 6. There we go. Eyes aren't failing me yet as they continue on into the next 75 metres of this race. There's not much left in it, but the energy is high here in the pool and out of the pool as well.
Yeah, certainly Jack did a great job getting that early speed. He's managed to hold it through the third 25 ahead of Zachary Gray. Over in lane 6, those two are still remaining out in front, but coming up alongside Zachary really quickly through lane 5 is our swimmer from Geelong, Spencer Stanley. It's not going to be enough in that last-ditch effort, though, to catch Jack Lomax. He's going to take this one out in a 117.73 ahead of Zachary Gray, who holds on for second, 119.75. And then it was Spencer Stanley in a 120.02 to touch in third.
Take your marks.
Fifth and final heat now for the boys 12-13 100-metre breaststroke. There is some good times to beat today, and they're looking in fine form out there. A few lanes between, I think, 3 and 7 that are quite even here at the Gippsland Aquatic Centre. Heading towards the 50-metre, the halfway mark of this event.
Does look like Billy Main might do it. Yeah, Billy Main out of lane 4, turns first, 35.25, followed by lane 6, Samuel Billette, Wodonga City. So we see if we can see, Billy starting to move ahead a bit quicker now, as he does come back for his final lap first. Billy Main, Samuel Billette. It is a battle here. They are going stroke for stroke.
It's going to be very close.
I think he is losing ground. Will be interesting. It is Billy Main, touches first, 114.20, followed by Samuel Billette, Wodonga City, 114.89. And in third spot, we've got out of lane 5, Haikang from Warragul, 116.05.
your marks.
Into the water we go now with event 77, the women's 100-metre individual medley for our multi-class swimmers. 2-time finals in this one this afternoon. Remember to keep an eye on these swims, and we'll eagerly await the results because we will be looking for our closest or our highest point score closest to each classification's world record. Now, you may notice a couple of differences in classification in our individual medley. Our swimmers have 3 different classifications. They have one for their strokes of butterfly, backstroke and freestyle. Then they have a different classification for breaststroke possibly. And we also have an SM classification for our swimmers medley classifications. So could be a few changes, and that is due to this breaststroke leg of the medley. As we go through the halfway point, your leader in this heat, Amy Bale, is just ahead of Cerise Nicholson. And they're going to be pulling these other girls along, trying to get everyone to swim as quickly as they possibly can through this 4th and final session.
Yes, Cerise and Amy both in the same class. It is Amy Bale at the moment, just in front, about half a body length. Maybe Cerise is coming in. Will be Cerise. Amy, sorry, out of lane 4, 126.76, followed by Cerise Nicholson from Warragul, 127.77, and lane 6, Kayla Wilson from Terralgan in 134.01.
Yeah, that's a massive drop from Kayla, about a 4-second PB from her entry time. As we look over towards lane 7, our final swimmer, just SM6, Gemma Cook, at 14 years of age. Her entry into this was a 2:12. She looks to be on pace to drop under that time. We'll wait for the scoreboard. And she is well under in a 2:07.43. Congratulations, girls.
Test start. Take your marks.
And we are underway for heat 2 of the multi-class individual medley 100 metre as they're doing their butterfly for the first 25. Got 3 of the middle lanes in the lead at the current moment. Going into backstroke now. As we've got a very close race between lane 3 and lane 4. That's Ava Dennis and Meg Conheady.
Yeah, Warragul Geelong, these girls are both S19s. To go into their breaststroke. Just out in front, Ava Dennis from Warragul. She makes the turn to come back. For her freestyle leg. These girls, lane 4 and 5, Ava and Meg. Does appear to be Ava that's going to touch first, and she does it in a 1:16.32, followed by Meg Cohetti from Geelong, 1:17.76, and out in lane 3, Ava Dennis from Warragul, 1:19.69.
Underway now with event 78, the men's 100-metre individual medley for our multi-class. Once again, the two-timed finals in this event this afternoon. Taking us through in that first 25 will be lane 5, Aaron Skinner from the Geelong Sharks. Really nice work in the butterfly. Starting to move up alongside him, Luke Wilson from South Gippsland Bass with a really good backstroke here. As with lane 3, Dane Hornsby, he's shifted gears and he'll actually get the touch in first there. We'll see what happens in the breaststroke. This can be a bit of a differentiator in all of our medleys. We tend to see this be the leg that really can make or break a lot of our swimmers. It's still a really close race through those 4 centre lanes.
Yeah, the 4 centre lanes about to turn. Does seem to be David Bale. Maybe lanes 3 and 6 sort of going to come in first. Yes, it will be lane 4, sorry. 126.31, followed by lane 3, 126.31 as well.
So it's another draw here. We have equal first place. Both of these guys touching at the exact same time, 126.31 for David Bale and Dane Hornsby. They are in different age groups and in different classifications though. So once again, it will come down to those point scores, not just our times out of the first heat of IM. So just a quick test start there you may have noticed on our broadcast, and that's because we have a couple of hearing impaired athletes racing out of this event. Those SM15 swimmers, they'll have a light next to their lane to signify when the starting signal goes off so they know when to leave and when to start the race. We just need to make sure that that is working correctly, and away they go down the first 25. It will be James Logan leading us after the butterfly. Not too far behind him, Lockie Ballion. And then over in lane 7, Matthew Skews doing really well early on here.
Yeah, so we've got lane 4, James Logan touching that wall at 30.29, heading into the breaststroke portion of this race. Nice little lead there that he's got as he's approaching the 75-metre mark of the race, moving around into the freestyle portion. Got about half a body's length ahead for James Logan in lane 4 from Geelong Sharks. But there's a little bit of a catch-up there from lane 5, but it doesn't change the trajectory of the score. So lane 4, 108.54 for James Logan, and Lockie Bellion at 109.12.
As our final athletes out of our last race for our multi-class swimmers heads into touch. Great job they've done across the weekend. I'm sure they'll be happy to be finished off.
And we are underway here for event 79, the girls 14-15 200-meter freestyle. We've got 6 heats in this event, and it's off to a nice start here as we've got 4 athletes in the pool, all hitting that wall at a very similar time there. All about a bit of endurance in this race. As they're approaching the 50-meter mark, we've got number 5 at a 33.19. Lane 5, that's Eliza Cooling there, just with a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, they all are matching their own their pace at the moment. Those 4 middle lanes. They come back now.
Got to conserve some energy in a race like this. 8 lengths of the pool for the 200 metre. So definitely, even though they're even now, we'll see a bit of a dispersal later on.
Yeah, it is Eliza Cooling from Terralgan coming and splitting that time first, 1:10. Not far behind Charlotte McKinville from Bendigo East, 1:10.48. See these 2 girls out in lanes 5 and 6, sort of picking up the pace, starting to break away from the other 2.
And we'll see lane number 5, Eliza Cooling there, touching that wall first for this part in the race as she heads on to her next part. All just getting a nice little half body lead there.
Eliza Cooling from Terralgan. Back from her next lap in front of Charlotte from Bendigo East. It will be Eliza Cooling coming in first, 2:25.54, followed by Charlotte from Bendigo East, 2:27.44. And out in lane 4, Isabella from Geelong, 2:27.93.
Take your marks.
Racing now with our second of 6 heats in the 14-15 years 200 metre freestyle. Plenty more freestyle action to come for us this afternoon, but I'm certainly sure if I was racing across this weekend, I would much prefer to be finishing my last event as a freestyle race than anything else. It's an exciting way to end what has been an incredible campaign of racing across our weekend here in Terralgan. Taking us through the first 50 will be lane 5, Willow Dixon of Bendigo East. She got her feet on the wall just ahead of lane 6, Isabel Day from Wangaratta. And then sitting in that 3rd place spot looks to be lane 4, Ella Featherstone of Ballarat Gold. And those 3 in the middle just maintaining their places here as we come up to the halfway point. They've set themselves up well. It's a great little competition between lanes 5 and 6. There's really not a lot separating them, about 0.2 of a second between Willow and Isabel. They've been trying to break away through that previous 50. As we hit this one, this is the premiership quarter, the 3rd 50 of the 200, the make or break, and the person certainly trying to break away is Isabel Day over in lane 6. She's been caught up to on the underwaters there. So short course swimming, short course racing, real big difference can be achieved just by working that underwater portion of each of these laps.
We see that in lane 4 there, Ella Featherstone. She has also made a bit of a break there and is putting herself up into the competition as well, as we see lane 6, Isabel Day too, taking a bit of a lead there now.
Yeah, Isabel Day, she just took off through the second half of this race. Really picked up the stroke rate, brought in the legs. This one looks like it's going to be a nice improvement for her. She'll come into touch. The time 2:20.86 ahead of Willow Dixon, 2:23.94. Will be Ella Featherston that finishes in third in a 2:25.73.
Swimmers, can you hold onto a lane rope, please? Take your marks.
We're into heat 3 now of the 200-metre girls 14-15 of freestyle, as they've had a pretty good start here over in lane number 3 and 4. The lane 3, Madeline Smith, and lane 4, Jade Hayward. Nice little start there. It's quite even across. I think there is a few swimmers missing in this. So when you're looking across the pool, they're all pretty much on par with each other at this point in the race.
So taking us through that first 50 will be Ariana Hall, the blue cap from Geelong, out of lane 6, gets her feet on the wall in 31 seconds, just narrowly under the 32 mark. Similar front end speed to what we saw in the previous heat. So we'll see if these girls can go a little bit quicker. They had some nice drops from their entry times out of heat 2. So we'll still be, as we reach that halfway point, looking like Ariana Hall holding that positioning. And then lanes 3 and 4, Madeline and Jade, still really close. Not much between those two, about 0.2 on the turn.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can pick up the pace in this longer form race, as we've got lane number 6 out ahead now, maintaining that lead. That's Ariana Hall.
So this one a little bit more challenging for Ariana. She has no one on either side of her to really try to push her along. Hopefully she's got some supporters over on the side who are going to try to give her a little bit of a wave as she comes down this final 50. She's done a great job. She's got about 2.5 seconds lead. I've just seen, though, out of lane 3, Madeline Smith really start to pick up and increase her speed to try and bring this one home. You can see a couple of the Geelong girls in the swim down pool, heads up over that boom, trying to support their teammate Ariana as she flies home down this final 25.
And she manages to touch that wall with a time of 2:22.92. That's Ariana Hall. And coming in second is Madeline Smith from Ballarat GCO for the time of
2:24.54.
Take your marks.
Often racing now. Heat 4 or 6, 200 metres.
We have seen a lot of athletes hovering around those low 220s, and almost this entire field sits at 222 with a couple of outsiders 223. So it'd be great to see a couple more break under that 220 mark. A couple of 219s would be exciting. Going through in first will be lane 4, 31.2 for Astrid Buchanan. She's really setting the pace and trying to pull the rest of the field out quickly with her. Also doing well over in lane 8. This is a good start from Alice Walsh from Surf Coast. She's right up there alongside lane 5, Audrey Bailey of Traralgon.
Yeah, about to touch the wall for this split times now. It's Astrid Buchanan looking like she's out in front. And she will be followed by Alexandra Wilson out of lane 2. Girls really starting to separate now. But it is Astrid Buchanan still powering along in the lead. Not far behind, we have Audrey Bailey, lane 5. And out on the wall there, Alice Walsh in the far lane, lane 8, still keeping up.
They hit the wall, 50 metres remaining for Astrid. Holding on to that lead, if not extending it just a little. It was a solid 50 from Alice. 3 girls racing for second place, really, out of this heat number 4.
Astrid Buchanan on her final lap, coming back to touch the wall, followed by Alice Walsh out in lane 8. Probably equal with Alexandra Wilson in lane 2, but it will be Astrid Buchanan touching on first, 2:16.85. Followed by Alexandra Wilson in lane 2 and lane 8, Alice Walsh, 20.37 for third.
Swimmers, can you hold on to lane road, please? Take your marks.
Underway now with the 5th heat of 6 in our girls 14, 15 years, 200 freestyle. Quickest time we've seen out of that previous heat, 2:16, set by Astrid Buchanan of Ballarat. As they come through the first 50-metre turn, it will be lane 3. Taylor Costello leading the way, another Ballarat swimmer. They've got plenty of energy left during this final session. Picking up the pace over on the far side out of lane 7. Looks to be Scarlett Gilmore. She's right up in this mix. With no one really trying to break away this early pace.
So Lila in lane 2 was the first one to touch the wall there at that halfway point there. Still, no one seems to be, like you said, breaking away, trying to make a lead here, but still a little bit left in this race, so we could potentially see that starting to happen in these coming moments. Lane 2 is looking strong there with Lila, as she again touches that wall nicely.
Yeah, she's holding on to that lead. We're just starting to see a couple of the girls in the middle begin trying to dig deep. You can see the coaches on the edge of the pool really giving the girl from Geelong, Scarlett, a bit of a wave on to see if she can try and catch up. But Layla looking the goods here, followed on by Taylor Costello. Scarlett Gilmore sitting in 3rd, and it's a race down this final 25. So it will be lane 2, Layla, in a time of 2:15.73. Followed on by lane 3, Taylor Costello, who finishes in 2nd. And then lane 4 flew home, Miller said, of Traralgon to touch in 3rd.
Take your marks.
Last heat of event 79 now underway. Girls 200 metre, 14 and 15 freestyle. See now, Arabella Johnson setting the pace. She's coming in first as she gets her first split time. Her first 50, 29.72.
Arabella Johnson's got quite a good seed time here with 2:06. It's one of the lower times here. It's one of the better times. So it'd be interesting to see if she does something similar or beats that time, because at this current moment she's fair ways out ahead compared to the other races. at this point in time.
Yeah. Arabella Johnson getting the next split time, 101.05, followed by lanes 3 and 6, both coming in at 104 and 105 seconds. The crowd starts to pump them up. Still, Arabella Johnson out in lane 4. A good 4 or 5 body lengths in front, I think.
Definitely got quite a lead here. It'd be quite surprising if someone broke through and was able to reach the pace of her, but it's absolutely an incredible swim by Arabella Johnson to be this far ahead at this point in the race.
Absolutely. In these 200 metres, I don't think we've seen a lead this far yet.
No, not at all. This is the first one. And it's very good to see. It'd be hard for the other swimmers, though, in this event.
She comes back now for her final lap. Arabella Johnson way in front.
She's lapped one of the other girls, but doing well to continue that on. And what's her time?
It's 2:04.39, and she will be way ahead of Taryn in lane 3 from Geelong, 2:11.99. And in third place, out of lane 2, Rebecca Barkley with a 2:14.73.
Brilliant race there from Arabella Johnson.
Line 1, can you hold on the line right, please? Take your marks.
Event 80, boys, 14 and 15, 200 metre freestyle underway now. We've got 3 swimmers in the pool. Lanes 3, 4 and 5. Seems to be Fraser Wrong from Traralgon. In the lead at the moment, he's really getting this right.
He certainly is. He'll go through in a time of 30.90. Really confident first 50 from him. Sitting in second place will be lane 4, Sam Detbarn. He'll be followed around by Caden Warren, another one of our Traralgon swimmers. And those placings are going to be pretty solidified as we come up to the halfway point in this 200 metre freestyle.
It is Fraser Wrong leading the first half of this race in front. He touches with 105.61. Couple of seconds behind, out of lane 4, Sam Detbarn from Sale. And in third place so far, we have Caden Warren, 110.41.
Yeah, just looking at those splits, these guys are definitely on that mark to try and break under their personal bests or their current entry times, which sit around the 2:23, 2:24 mark. You want to be as even as possible between these two 100s, and our best swimmers are only adding about 1 or 2 seconds over that extra 100 metres. So we'll see what the boys here can do. They're holding along nicely. It is still Fraser in that lead position ahead of Sam and Caden.
Fraser Wrong still in front. Couple of seconds in front of Sam. But it's going to be all Fraser Wrong. He's going to touch first. And he does it in a 2:17.38 with Sam Detbarn just behind him in 2 minutes 21.77. And in third spot, Caden Warren in a 2:26.66.
And we're underway here for Heat 2 of the boys 14-15 200-metre freestyle, as they're heading into their first 25 metres. Looks like first to hit that turn there was actually in lane 7, Taj Reid.
Yeah, it certainly was. His feet flicked over a little bit quicker than this side of the pool, but it will be lanes 1 and 2 with the advantage at the 50-metre turn. So Elijah Verco of Traralgon hits the wall, 30.40 ahead of Patrick Hunter, 30.89. We watch to see who can build into this swim the best.
And the feet that hit first was in lane 2, Elijah there from Traralgon, and he's kept up the pace here as well. Wouldn't count out a few of the other swimmers in this race though, as we can still build a bit of speed here, find that little bit of extra oomph and get through to the end.
You can just see that effort trying to lift through this third 50 from the boys. Elijah looks to be maintaining his lead. Starting to really make up a little bit of ground though in lane 5 is Josiah McGuigan of Mansfield. He's doing a nice job. Looks to have pushed his way through. Ahead of lane 1, Patrick Hunter. As they hit the wall for their final 50 though, all these boys now still trying to chase down Elijah Verco.
Doing quite well to maintain that speed that he's done pretty much throughout the entire race. Very good endurance there from Elijah Verco. See if he can take it into this last 25 metres. We see a little bit of pace building there in lane 5 it is.
And down to touch though, Elijah holds on. 2:14.59 ahead of Josiah, 2:14.84, and then it was Patrick Hunter who touched in third in a 2:16.49.
Heading into heat number 3 now, as the swimmers have entered the pool. The speed is already just that 10% more than the last lot of last heat, as we see quite an even spread across the pool of swimmers here. Over in lane 4, I think that'll be our, yep, that's going to be our leader in the touch there at 29.94. Eli Kerr with the lead at the current moment.
Yeah, Eli Kerr doing a great job here. One of our multi-class athletes, S9, in our able-bod races, has qualified nicely into this boys 14-15 years 200-metre freestyle. Leading the way, going along with him out of lane 5, Jaden Lim from Ballarat Gold. And they'll turn together with Max Ravisa of Ballarat Gold as well. So Eli holds on to first ahead of Jaden, with Max still sitting hot on their heels. This third 50 to make or break. And you can just see those leaders really trying to lift here, and that becomes the difference in these final times, of that ability to shift up and work up a little bit harder through this second half of the 200.
Lane number 5, Jaden Lim there is doing quite well to try and get the pace up there, but a great turn from Eli Kerr there. Just puts him at half a length in front of his competitor to his left there, as we're going into the final turn. And Eli Kerr is still out in front, but we'll see what happens towards the last 15 metres of this race. if he can maintain that.
And it will be Eli, 210.54, touching in head of Jaden Lim, 212.67. Over in lane 7, Harrison Chiller from Warrnambool also stormed home down the final 50, and he'll touch in third in a 213.98.
Line 2, hold on the line, please. Take your marks.
Heat 4 now of the boys 14-15 200 metre freestyle, and they're off and swimming here with a nice little lead. We'll see as they're coming out of the water. They're from lane number 5 it is, yes. Troy Oswald there from Warragul with the lead at this current position of the race.
Yeah, Troy getting out and away super quickly through the first half of this 200. We've seen him do this before. He's got great front end speed. A couple of races early on, really led the way. It's all about whether or not he can maintain this pace. Looking good so far. He goes through the halfway point, 57.89, ahead of lane 4, Jason Denholm of Wodonga City, round in a 100, and then it's crossed to lane 7 where Lyndon Chaplin of Traralgon is sitting in third place spot, but he's got his own little race within a race with the swimmer from Geelong beside him, Byron Morgan. They have been pretty close together throughout this early part of the race.
Doing quite well to maintain that speed, but it's going to be interesting as to whether he can keep that through the entirety of this race. As we see in lane number 4, Jason Denholm head pop up there, not too far behind Troy Oswald there. So there is still a little bit of fight in this race.
They certainly have tried to close the gap set by Troy Oswald early on, and close it they may have, but not enough to take the win out of heat number 4. It will be Troy in a 204.04 ahead of Jason, 205.72. And then it will be lane 6 to touch in third, 210.23. And that goes to Byron Morgan of the Geelong Swimming Club.
Take your marks.
So away we go now with our 5th and final heat of the men's 200 metre freestyle for our 14, 15-year-olds. And this looks to be shaping up as a pretty top quality race. It will be Xavier Gray out of lane 5, leading the way through the first 50, ahead of Jack Hayes in the center of the pool from Surf Coast. A little bit better on the underwater there to come up alongside Xavier. And then sitting in third, out in lane 1 as we come through, is Cooper Scott. Now we've seen Cooper do some big drops from his entry time, so see if he can hold on to this early speed.
It's the middle lanes that are holding the lead here at the moment in this 14-15 200 freestyle event, with the lane number 5, Xavier Gray, touching that wall first yet again. But he in lane number
Lane number 4, Jack Hayes, a little bit better off the walls than the underwaters. Xavier making up the ground during the swim portion, but then Jack just really pushing as he comes off each of the walls. He's gained a little bit of a distance now ahead of Xavier. He'll turn through at the 150, 129.14 in first. The race really becoming between Cooper Scott out in lane 1 and Jack Hayes as Xavier Gray tries to hold on.
It's always easy to miss lane 1, and I don't know what it is. It just must be our positioning, because it is going to be a very, very close race to the finish here by these lane 1 and lane 4. And it is looking good there for lane 1. He's taken the win. Cooper Scott with a 159.11 and Jack Hayes with a 159.53 coming in second.
Ahead of Xavier Gray, who touched in a 202.17 to take third.
Take your marks.
Underway now with event 81, the girls 16, 17 years, 100-metre breaststroke. And I'm joined on commentary by Bradley Doolan, one of our multi-class athletes from Geelong. I wanted to have a quick chat to you, Brad, about the competition this weekend. How do you think the multi-class swimmers have gone?
Very good. The way how they race and how we train, that's how we put out in the water with their abilities. And with the multi-class, they are very strive how they go in the pool with their training, their skills, and put it all together on the race day like that.
Yeah, they've certainly done a good job. A lot of you guys have had really heavy programs, most of you competing in every single event across the weekend. You finished off today with probably one of the hardest swims, the 100-metre individual medley. How do you think you went personally?
Personally, the first 75, trying to stay focused with a lot of kicking, and then at the back end, we maintain it in 9.35. So the IM is my favourite, but I need to prove the couple things. But I was happy with my IM today.
Beautiful work. Well, we always want to see our athletes finishing well down that final 25 as we look at such a close race here between lanes 3 and 4, and it will be won by Molly Detbarn of Sale in the first heat, 124.67. She was just ahead of Katie Macklin from Seymour there in a 124.92. And we'll move along to our second heat.
Take your marks.
Into the second heat now of the 16-17 100-metre breaststroke, as we've got quite a few swimmers taking that 15 metres underwater, popping up towards the end of that 15 metres. No consistent leader at this current point, but we will definitely find one when it comes to the 50-metre check-in here. The crowd is, for an event that finishes at the end of the day, the crowd is actually getting bigger, which is quite exciting to see, and it's good for those swimmers in the water.
It certainly is. As we come through the 50-metre turn, it will be lane 4, Kayla Welsh, who leads the way ahead of lane 5, Claire Matheson from Ballarat Gold. Now, Brad, I've asked you a couple of questions. I've got one final one. How has the weekend been overall, do you think, for all of the athletes here in Traralgon?
So with all the team points are crucial for all the swimmers out there with the actual points, and then how they finish, extra points for the club, and also with them swimming hard as well, make everything go well for the club. Win or lose as team points is crucial at the end of the day with who wins on the day, on the last day of the competition like this.
Well, you couldn't have said it better. The team points, every extra athlete that you guys can get across the line in those top 10 swimmers and get extra points for your club makes the difference, especially on this final day. There's plenty of crucial points up for grabs. A massive thank you to Brad for joining us here on commentary, and good luck to you getting back to your team. I do know that the Geelong guys are in a pretty good position for those points, so we look forward to awaiting the team scores at the end of the day as we move now into our third and final heat of the girls 16-17 years 100-metre breaststroke. It will be lanes 5 and 6 leading the way at that first turn. Claudia Croatto and Memphis Johnson.
As they pop up now going into the 50 metres of that race. You can hear the crowd every time these swimmers pop up for air, just giving them that encouragement. It's lane 6 that touched the wall first there. Memphis Johnson from Geelong there maintaining that lead, but it's between the three in 4, 5 and 6 that are just quite neck and neck each stroke.
Yeah, they certainly are. You can just see that slightly higher stroke rate coming out from Memphis Johnson ahead of our swimmer in lane 5, Claudia. Those guys just picking up that level towards this last 10 metres, and it will be almost stroke for stroke onto the wall. Looks like Memphis had it at the 75, but it will go to Claudia. What a great finish on the wall there. 112.55 ahead of 112.78 from Memphis. And those two, a battle to remember there in event 81.
Event 82, the boys 16-17 100-metre breaststroke is the next event here at the 2026 UNCLOUD Victorian Country Championship. Good start here from the boys as they make their way towards their first 25 metres. High energy at this point in the race. They do only have to do 100 metres in this, so compared to the 200, it's a lot breezier.
Yeah, a lot faster. The crowd seems to be getting into it at the moment as we head towards sort of the last half of the last session. We will see who gets to the wall in this first half of the race, and it does appear to be
lane 6.
Lane 6, 34.36 as they get into the second half.
Jara Taggle there with the lead at the moment, but again, it's a race between 4, 5 and 6. Even lane 7 is also in this race as well. Just hitting that 75-metre mark.
As they turn around now for their final lap. Looking good out in lane 4, Jonah Elliott. Lane 3, Oscar Wolf. Lane 4, sorry. Will be lane 4. Jonah Elliott, 112.43, followed by lane 6, Jared Tagell, with a 113.61, and out of lane 5, it'll be Kai Maloney from Warrnambool with 115.38.
About to get underway for heat 2 of 3 for the boys 16-17 100-metre breaststroke, and they're off and swimming as they take up most of that first 25 metres underwater. Seems to be the way to go to gain that speed, and then they're underway there with the breaststroke portion. Hitting that wall first was lane number 5 in Joshua Fitzgerald from Warrnambool. But I couldn't quite tell you who's got the lead because there's about 4 or 5 swimmers all even up.
Does appear to be out of lane 6. It's Sebastian hitting the wall, 32.86, followed by lane 4. Thomas Pendergast, Traralgon, 33.20, as they get into the last second, into the final second half of this race.
Be interesting to see if they can keep up that endurance. Breaststroke being one of those strokes that takes up a lot of energy. It's a high energy stroke. And it's going to be interesting to see who takes home the win with less than 15 metres to go in this event. It could be between at least two of these swimmers here to wait for the...
Looking pretty even out of lane 4, 109.62, followed by lane 6, Sebastian from Geelong, 110.31, and third out of lane 3, Noah Warner from Moe with a 111.31.
Yeah, and that winner was Thomas Prendergast.
Take your marks.
Third and a final heat here for the boys 16-17 100-metre backstroke, and they're off and racing here. Quite even across the board, but again, this is how these races seem to start, the 100-metre ones, until someone decides to break away from that pack. Spend a lot of time underwater, these these boys do, a lot more than the females.
Yeah, certainly it can be so advantageous within these breaststroke events to hold and maintain that speed through the underwater. It's a good little rest almost if you can be really efficient and still have that speed. They will go through with lane 7 in the lead here. Cormac Flynn of South Gippsland Bass. He's just ahead of lane 4, Billy Fisher. So it's the two boys from South Gippy who lead the way, starting to push up into this race now. Reece Hornsby from Geelong. Those three will turn for that final 25 almost together, but the best of the underwaters there probably going to Billy Fisher.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be very close here between lanes 4 onwards, as we see that lane 4, Billy Fisher touches that wall at 107.07. Also hitting the wall at 107.52 was Reece Hornsby in lane 5. So very, very close between the two.
Swimmers, can you hold on to a lane rope, please? Take your marks.
Into the water now. We have some splash and dash once again, some 100-metre freestyles. This is event 83, the women's 18 and over, just the 2-time finals in this one. Leading the way at the 50-metre point will be lane 5, Celeste Ellis. She's going to go through the 29.68. Quick start from her. Lane 4, 30.14 for Abby Freeman of Wodonga. And those two, the ones to beat out of Heat 1.
Doing well to maintain that speed here back to the freestyle events. And nice turns there from those middle lanes as they resurface. And coming in for that final 15 metres of racing here. It's going to be going to lane number 5 at 102.38. That's Celeste Ellis.
Yeah, she'll hit the wall ahead of Abby, 103.06, and then it was lane 6, Zoe Dowler finished well. Down the final lap, 103.72 for her.
Second and final heat here for the girls 18 and over, 100-metre freestyle. Nice start there from across the board, actually. Good racing there as they hit that first 25-metre mark and turn. And it's a good start here from lane 4, which is Nicole Briscoe. But she's just got that lead ahead of her competitors, but there could be anyone's race at this point.
Yeah, so going through it will be Nicole, 28.49 ahead of her teammate out of lane 3, Ali Morgan, turning in a 28.93. And then it was over in lane 7, our other Geelong athlete in here, Zoe Jennings, who went through in 3rd. So the 3 blue caps leading the way at the 75-metre turn as well. As we switch on for this final 15 metres, will still be Nicole trying to hold off Ali.
And it's going to be a nice clean win there, 59.67 for Nicole Briscoe, and 1 minute 50.57, sorry, for, was it lane 5? Hi. Number 3, Ellie Morgan there, so 2 teammates from Geelong taking 1st and 2nd.
Off and running now. Event 84, boys 18 and over, 100-metre freestyle. Ball laps, they're powering along. Splash and dash. Looking pretty even. But I'd have to say the first half of the race, it will be out of lane 4. Touching first, 26.78, not far behind the outer lane. Lane 7, 26.79. That's Kirivati from Sale.
Yeah, so Brandon Wilson led the way at the halfway point, but certainly losing a little bit of that gap set early as they turn for the final 25. Fortunately, some nice underwaters might be his saving grace as he comes down under the flags to touch. Looks like he will hold on for the win out of Heat 1.
And he gets it with 55.23 out of lane 5 at Sebastian from Warrnambool, 56.31 and out of lane 6.
Take your marks. Stand out. Take your marks.
Off and away for event 84, Heat 2. The boys, 18 over, 100-metre freestyle. Coming out first, I would have to say lane 5, Sebastian from Warrnambool in the lead now. Makes the halfway point. It's Ashley Nichols, 24.31.
Yeah, it certainly looked like Sebastian Christie Crane had the lead or the slight advantage coming into that wall. But you just saw that quicker flick over of the feet onto the touch pads there as they hit the wall at the halfway point. Same thing at the 75. And it looks to me like Ash Nichols is just going to pull away at the end of this race to to take the win out of the second heat.
Yeah, it is Ash Nichols, 50.16, followed by Sebastian out of lane 5, 51.09, and then out of lane 7, Akiri Vardy from Sale, 53.09.
Swimmers, can you hold on to lane rope, please? Take your marks.
Event 85, the girls 11 and under 100 metre freestyle event is about to get underway here at the 2026 UNCLOUD Victorian Country SC Championships.
Take your marks.
And they're in the water now. There's 4 swimmers in this heat who are doing quite well for their starting 25 metres. All going to be hitting that turn around the same time.
So once again, our early heats all seated times very close together. The girls here all on that 123 mark. For a lot of these 11 and unders, or for all of these 11 and unders, I should say now, this is their final event of the championships. What a way to finish the 100 free. We all love a sprint. As we come through toward that 75 metre turn, it will be our swimmer from Geelong, Neve Brown, who'll hit the wall first, ahead of lane 6, Brooklyn Bradsworth from Wodonga City. And then it was pretty close from the girls sitting behind them. But this one looks like it will be Neve Brown as she comes down under the flags with a nice lead into the touch.
With a nice time of 1:17.63, so quite a bit off from her seed time there. Very good job to her. And lane 6, Brooklyn Bradsworth, coming in second there.
Take your marks.
As we're going into heat 2 of the girls 11 and under 100 metre freestyle. They're off and racing here. We've got a full pool of athletes now as they are approaching the 25 metre mark. Nice little splash and dash.
Yeah, splash and dash, always good. Exhilarating race. You can see a lot of the crowd in here at the moment is gathered around this end of the pool to support everyone.
Seems to be a quite even spread of race here.
It is very even. I believe lane 1 gets it. Clementine Chapman from Wangaratta in 36.97, followed by lane 2. As they go into the second half of this race.
The consistency is quite good here between most of the lanes across the board. Keeping up the pace as well as doing nice and quick turns, spending a good amount of time underwater. And it's going to be a race here between lanes 5.
Probably 1, but we'll see.
Yes.
They're approaching the wall now. I think it's going to be lane 1.
Yeah, lane
And
1
it
has
is.
taken it. 1:17.42 for Clementine Chapman. Isabella Jurek coming in second there, 1:18.64. And Ivy Ryan coming in at third.
Take your marks.
And we're into a heat of 3 of 4 now for the 11 and under female as they're off and racing here. Nice good start across the board for these girls. They would definitely be happy for that their weekend be over. They've all done quite well across the board Nice little freestyle to finish off the competition for them. Be interesting. We've got lane number 4, Summer Davis, coming in nice and strong, touching that wall first.
She goes through in a 33.88. Now, interestingly, our previous heat almost all touched identically at the halfway point. A lot more of a distance between our leaders here out of the third heat. So we'll be looking to see what times they can post, whether they can sneak into that top 8, score themselves some points. Even this point of the competition, we might see some quick swims out of these ones. Some tired athletes can always mean some openings for medals across our racing. This one will be Summer Davis, led start to end as she comes in to the finish line.
1:12.54 is her time, with lane 5, Charlotte Norman, doing a 1:15.61 in second place. 1:16.15 for Annabelle Ewings.
Take your marks.
Final heat now. The girls' 1100 metre freestyle. Looking pretty good out of lane 4. So Georgie Kennett, Ballarat Gold. She approaches the first half of the race. Her split time will be a 29.38. Not far behind out of lane 5. Nellie Gray from Geelong.
Georgie just setting this one up beautifully with that early speed. 100 freestyle, it's still a sprint, so you need to take it out really close, as close to possible as you can to your personal best for the 50. Georgie Kennett's doing a great job of that. Can't wait to see this time as it comes up on the board. Nellie Gray sitting in second. She's done fantastically. As we watch that finish, it will be a 1:01.39 for Georgie Kennett. She smashed her PB. Nellie Gray touches in second from lane 5 in a 1:08.38. Close on the wall for third, but it does go to lane 3, Zoe Braham of Ballarat Gold as well.
Event 86, the boys 11 and under 100 metre freestyle got 4 heats in this event. Starting off with 4 athletes as they enter the pool for their 100 metre freestyle. Going to see lane number 6 touch the wall first, Brooklyn Bradsworth from Wodonga City. But across the board, it could be anyone's race at this point. Making a bit of a lead now is Sebastian Bredig from Wangaratta in lane 3.
Very even at the moment as they complete the first half of this race. It is Sebastian Bredig from Wangaratta in the lead.
So 2 out of the 4 of the pack have made a little bit of a break now away, and just about half a length to a length in front of each of the other 2. So we see, I think that is Austin Kolak there in the lead.
Got about half the pool to swim in their final lap. Austin Kolak from Warragul in the lead now. Looks like he will get first. And he gets it in a time of 1:20.47, followed by Sebastian from Wangaratta, 1:21.85. And in third place, Jet Robertson from Warragul. He does it in 1:23.57.
your marks.
And we're off here for heat 2 of the boys 11 and under 100 metre freestyle. As we had a few lane issues, but they're all resolved. As we've got a good start here from all of them, nice and even across the board. Those far lanes taking all 4 of them pretty much touching the wall at the same time as they're heading into the 50 metre mark. It will be interesting to see who touches that wall first. It's looking like it's going to be lane 5, which is Riley O'Mara. He does so at a 35.4.
Yeah, we certainly saw a really nice start from the far side of the pool from the boys in lanes 7 and 8, but Riley just built through that second 25 and continues to build into this 100 metre freestyle. He's extending that lead quite nicely as he hits the 3/4 point. Following him onto the wall will be our swimmer out in lane 7, Barry Song of Ballarat Gold. He was followed on by lane 8, Nelson Cook, with our lane 3 swimmer, Oliver Beavis, also trying to fight back down this final lap.
And it is going to be a nice finish here from Riley O'Mara with a 1:14.74, and coming in second, Barry Song from Ballarat Gold with a 1:16.16, and in third, a 1:16.84 is Oliver Beavis from Traralgon. Moving into heat 3 of 4 as the 11 and unders hit the water, and they're off and racing here for the nice little 100 metre freestyle. Nice way to finish off their competition here, the 11 and unders.
Starting off strong with the boys and the middle lanes. Fairly consistent pace. I think now I'd be looking at lane 5. Joshua Rodder.
It's going to be lane 6 who's touched that wall first. Alexander Lee from Kangaroo Flat. It's very close across the board there though. Making a break for it now is lanes 5 and 6. They're neck and neck here, touching that wall at the 75 metre mark. Exact same time turning on that wall. But don't count out lanes 1 and 2 too. They're all fighting here to get to the end of this 100 metre.
Last little bit of the race, looking good. Out in lane 5. It is Joshua Rodder from Bendigo East getting first.
1:12.34. Coming in second in lane 1 was Patrick Wendt of Warrigal. Fantastic effort there from those boys.
Underway now. Fourth and final heat of event 86. Boys 11 and under, 100 metre freestyle. Jumped in, a lot of power there. They all touched that first 25 wall almost at the same time. But looking good out in lane 4. Got Sonny Gordon from Wodonga. Looks like he'll get his first half of the race first, 31.74, followed closely by Oliver Young from Geelong, 32.17.
2, 3 and 4 are neck and neck here. Those three, Eli Pollard, Oliver Young and Sonny Gorham, as they're going in again to the 75 metre mark of this race. It's going to be very interesting to see who takes the win here. They're putting in a lot of power here to get to the end of this race and touch that wall first. And it's going to be lane 4, 106.82 8-3. Sunny Gorham, Oliver Young in second place there from Geelong.
Boys, can you hold on to a lane break, please? Take your marks.
Event 87, the girls 12-13 200 metre freestyle. We've got these 3 girls in this event, all quite evenly across the pool there, all turning at the same time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone isn't going to make a break. And in saying that, over in lane number 3, Ray Anwell has touched that wall first with 34.11. Just about half a body's length ahead in lane 3 here behind the 2 other swimmers at Mia McGuffey and Evie Hayes in lanes 4 and 5 as we're coming in to the 100 metre point of the race.
Ray looking pretty good though.
We've got a steady lead so far, but Evie Hayes from Geelong is just creeping up a little bit further.
Ray Anwell, Bendigo East, in front now.
Just maintaining that speed. Good turn, good stroke motion.
Mia McGuffey, though, seems to have caught up. They are neck and neck. .154.20, she gets that split time. Mia McGuffey from Wangaratta Sting seems to have taken the lead now. She comes back for the final lap.
She's pushing hard here.
Mia McGuffey in first spot, not far behind Evie Hayes from Geelong, but it does look like it's going to be Mia McGuffey from Wangaratta Sting. She touches in 2:31.43, followed by Evie Hayes from Geelong in 2:33.08, and in third, Ray Anwell from Bendigo East, 2:34.10.
Lane 5, can you hold on to a lane break, please? Take your marks.
Into the water now. We have our second heat of 6 for the time finals. In our 200 metre freestyle, 12, 13-year-olds. Tough way to finish a weekend, the 200 free. Big challenge. 8 laps of pretty much sprinting for our athletes here. And sprinting through this first 50. It's going to be close between lane 7 and lane 2. Just 0.1 separating the girls there, with Scarlett Skidmore ever so slightly ahead of Eliza Luby from the Wangaratta Stingrays.
It's interesting as the day goes on. You've got some age groups having a harder morning, some age groups having a harder afternoon. I don't know what I'd prefer.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to the athlete. I think some of these swimmers enjoy having the tougher events later in the program because they know that they've done the hard work, they've done the hard yards, and when push comes to shove, they're going to lift in those opportunities. Others, I think you definitely want to be finishing with the shortest version of each of these strokes. So if you get to finish with the 100 free, I think I'd personally prefer that to the 200 and be able to halve your distance across the evening of racing. But it hasn't seemed to slow down Our swimmer Scarlett out in lane 7. She continues to push in this 200-metre freestyle as she comes up to the 150-metre turn. She's pulled away from the masses, and she's going to lead the charge down the final 50.
Scarlett Skidmore out of lane 7. Going pretty strong at the moment. Slight lead, I would have to say, over lane 4, Sophie McKenzie.
Yeah, this race in the centre, those bright yellow lanes of 4 and 5, they have definitely closed this gap. They've had one another to push each other along for a lot of this race. It's a lot harder to do it out on the far side on your own, but that's what Scarlett has done, and she will hold it for the win out of the second heat.
She gets it in the 226.59, followed by Chloe out of lane 5, 228.37, and lane 4, Sophie McKenzie from Benalla, 228.96.
You hold on to a lane rope, please. Test start. Take your marks.
Here we go into the third heat of 6. 12, 13-year-olds. A really challenging combined age group here, as you do notice quite a bit of time difference as we get down to a lot of those 13-year-olds. Our final heat, our top 8 fastest qualifiers, just one 12-year-old able to score a place in that top 8. As we come through the 50-metre turn, it's going to be lane 3 and 7. So 7 again, 32.68 for
Adele York. Bendigo Hawks. Looking pretty good, but the other one to watch would probably be out of lane 3, Camilla from Ballarat Gold.
Yeah, I'm just having a look because I think we've got the incorrect swimmers coming up on our board here, as it does appear to be a Geelong cap over out of lane 7 who leads the way. So we'll keep an eye on that. Lane 3 pushing along nicely here. Camila Meneses Lopez, Ballarat Gold. Lane 7 continues to hold on to that lead. I'm wondering if that is Imogen Wilkins from Geelong.
They switched lanes.
Potentially, I think we might just have a misprint maybe on our end, because that is definitely a blue Geelong cap that I can see in the lead, but that lead margin is certainly decreasing now as we come into our final 25. A little bit of movement from lane 5, Jun Queen Kao, Ballarat Gold, starting to push up alongside. I think she's been seen by our swimmer out in lane 7 because she's really motoring down this final 25.
It is the swimmer out of lane 7 that is going to get the win there. She does it in 226.59, followed by lane 5, Jun Queen from Ballarat Gold, 228.10. And out in lane 3, Camilla from Ballarat Gold, 228.67.
Take your marks.
Underway for heat 4 here of the girls 12-13 200-metre freestyle. We've got a strong lead out here from lane 6, Talia McCubbin from Traralgon. She's just hit that turn quickly and nicely there. We'll see as we get to the 50-metre mark if She is the one that is in the lead, and she is 32.43 at that first 50-metre mark. Still out in front there, very noticeable lead here for Talia from Traralgon as she goes into that next 25-metre lap, bringing it up to 150 metres.
So we are going to be turning at the 100-metre mark on this wall, halfway through the 200. You get to start to recognise a few of these names across the board, athletes who have done these nice personal bests and drops. And Talia McCubbin, as well as Matilda Canetti, your two leaders early on in this race, definitely ones who are a little bit noteworthy. I've certainly said those names a couple of times, definitely with some good PBs. So they've certainly maintained that consistency in their swims. Talia just absolutely motoring now through this third 50-metre. You can see how much she's brought in those legs, and that's every coach's dream. You have an athlete who really sets that pace through the third 50 and isn't afraid to push this 200 early on.
As she hits that wall again, a very noticeable lead there. She'd be feeling good and comfortable in that position, but going to have to keep pushing hard as the competitors around her will be doing the exact same thing. You can see here that in lane 2, Ruby Demetrius is also pushing hard there as well, and gaining on her a little bit there on Talia, gaining on her quite a bit.
Yeah, certainly is. She's coming home rapidly down this final 25. It's going to be close between the two Traralgon teammates.
She's
and
done
it.
it.
Ruby, who does get that finish there, 2:24.93 ahead of Talia, 2:25.09. In third place, going to lane 3, that is Abel McPherson of Warragul in a 2:27.79. It was a good race.
And we're off here for heat 5 of 6 for the girls 12-13 200-metre freestyle. A long, long sprint this one is, as the girls just turn around and touch that first 25-metre mark, heading into the 50, all quite evenly sparsed across the pool, with lanes 7 and 8 just out in front. But it was actually swimming in lane number 4, Georgia Rump from
South Gippsland Bass, Georgia Rump at lane 4. Good. They come back towards the starter's end.
Be watching those outside lanes 7 and 8 as well, as they're also putting in quite a bit of pace in this race.
We have had a leader change. Eighth lane, Addison Prout from Traralgon taking the lead now.
You can hear the crowd starting to pick up as they're furthering along in their journey towards 200 metres. Crowd here really egging the girls on, trying to keep them motivated.
Addison Prout out in lane 8, gets a split time for this lap out in front, 145.126. Second in lane 3, Lila Stevens from Warragul, 146.89.
Every inch of power is going to be used in these final laps here in this heat. Good fast turn there.
Yeah, still Addison Prout. 5 metres left to go. She looks like she is going to get it, and she hits the wall in a 2:19.93, followed by Lila Stevens from Warragul, 2:21.04. And in lane 5, Jada from Ballarat GCO, 2:24.55.
Alrighty, we reach our sixth and final heat of the girls. 12, 13-year-olds, 200-meter freestyle. Let's see what they have left for this afternoon. One final showdown and showing them how it's done through the first 25 will be lane 4, Raina Snyders.
Raina Snyders powering along now. Looks like she's going to complete the first 50 metres in front. Does it in 2:29.543, just in front of Miley Bird, Bendigo East, 31 seconds. They approach the 75-metre mark now.
It is still Raina just increasing that lead. Certainly going to be a difficult challenge to try and catch back up now with that distance set in this first 100. So she ticks over at a 101.49, racing for those minor medals at this point with ground to make up. Our lanes 5 and 6, Miley Bird and Matilda DeFazio. They were stroke for stroke at the halfway point. Miley just picking up that speed a little bit through this third 50.
Still is Raina Snyders out in front, 134.49. Probably a good 3 or 4 body lengths in front of Miley Bird from Bendigo East. But as Raina Snyders comes back for her final lap, she's halfway through that final lap. It is going to be Raina Snyders out of lane 4, which is going to complete this race in first position. And she does it in 2:07.43, followed by Miley Bird out of lane 5 for Bendigo East. She does it in 2:13.62. And for third spot, out of lane 6, Matilda DeFazio D from Benalla in 2:16.79. Excuse me.
Line 4-5, can you hold on the line ropes?
We're about to commence event 88, the boys 12-13 200-meter freestyle. 4 swimmers in the pool. 3 swimmers, actually. There was supposed to be 4, and now there's 3. Got a nice starting turn there at the first 25, all pretty even across the 3. We've got Jackson Miller from East Gippsland in lane 3, Sonny Davis in lane 4 from Warrnambool, and then in lane 6, Abel Newman from HRR.
So the last event for our boys, 12, 13-year-olds across the weekend, and all 3 of these athletes came into this race today sitting at a 2:36 entry time. Who's got the most left in the tank after 2 days of grueling competition? It's a nice, close race still. As we come up to the 100-meter mark, it will still be our swimmer out of lane 4, Sonny Davis, who looks to have just that little bit of a leeway between himself and Abel Newman. They'll go through first and second with our third place, Jackson Miller. Not too far behind though. He's only half a second away from the pace being set there by Abel Newman. We just start to see Sonny pick up his speed through the third 50.
Hitting that turn now and still maintaining that lead. It's a good lead to have at this point in the race. Just want to be a little bit cautious of those around you, and with having a lane between him and another competitor, be a little bit hard to gauge where he is, but at the moment he's just about a body's length in front of his competitor there in lane 3.
He certainly is. He swum this really nicely He's just continuing to add pieces of the puzzle together here. Sonny, he's now brought in the legs, picked up that rate, turning for that final 25. The best feeling in the world. You're on your last lap of the weekend. Do everything you can, leave it all in the pool. It's a great swim from Sonny Davis out of lane 4, 2:24.72. I'll just remind you guys, that is a 12-second personal best.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. All three got PBs there as well, so good job to those boys.
Perfect way to finish that one.
Take your marks.
And we're underway with heat 2 of 5 of the boys 12-13, 200-metre freestyle. A little bit more pace, a lot more competitors in the pool for this race, which definitely puts the pressure on. Not as I don't like to say laid back, but the last one seemed in comparison to this one, putting a lot of fight in. There's a few contenders out front at the moment. See who touches that wall first. It's going to be lane 7, Edward Valentin from Ballarat Gold.
Yeah, certainly looked nice and relaxed out of heat 1 for Sonny, but still a really fast time. If we compare that to the entries from these boys, it's still about 7 seconds quicker than the fastest qualifier. So they are going to need to drop from their entry time if they want to match the pace set early on. Quite often what we are looking for is for these events to look easy. You want to be efficient. That is the key. Even when you're racing hard, if it looks like hard work, it probably feels like hard work. And we don't want that from our swimmers. The easier they can make this speed, the better it's going to be for them as they reach the second half, which is where our athletes are at in this 100. They've just gone through lane 7. It is still Edward Valentin leading ahead of Ben Goodman, but Ben has put the motor on through this third 50 and just starting to get a little bit of a lead now.
And that lead is definitely starting to pay off. It's going to be interesting when they come up and touch that wall to find out the split there with these competitors, as it's going to be lane 6, so Ben Goodman.
Oh no, he's made that easy to do mistake in our short course swimming. 200 freestyle, it is 8 laps, and I've seen it happen numerous times from some of even our top athletes. He stopped at 6 laps. The other boys, they have counted correctly. This is where that training pays off and the focus, but sometimes you're so in the race and working so hard. He really pushed that third 50, and the fatigue obviously felt like he was done. Not done though, out in lane 2. Coming home beautifully here is Car Tran, and he's going to get on the wall first. Very similar time to we saw from the first heat, 2:24.29 for Car. He'll touch ahead of Edwin Valentin, 2:25.27.
Take your marks.
And we're into heat 3 of 5 now with the boys 12-13, 200-metre freestyle. Don't think anyone else will be making that mistake. We'll be lap counting in their head, that's for sure, as we've got a few of the boys out in the lead here. Lane 2's looking quite good in Jordan Galiccio.
Yeah, he's certainly pushed through this first 50. Got about half a body length ahead of lane 3, Henry Svoboda and Terrelgan.
It's quite a good length of lead, but it'll be interesting to see if he can hold on for the entirety of the race. It's very early days. If you can set that speed, good on you, but you've got to maintain it as well.
I think it is really good, or a really good skill for these younger swimmers to start practicing, is pushing through the first 100. What we do tend to notice is that early speed, no matter what you do kind of on the first 100, their second 100 or their fitness level is going to be pretty similar. We don't often see, especially in freestyle, these huge drops off that pace in the last lap, even if you've pushed yourself to your absolute max in the first 100. So he's doing a really great job, and I don't think we're going to see him fall off. His technique's still looking nice. He's still got some pretty good length. He is circling the lane just a little bit, so that's a little bit of room for improvement, but that comes with age and practice, especially race practice. And he'll turn at the 150-metre mark in first, now well and truly by around almost 3 seconds. So 2.98 between our swimmers in Jordan and Henry.
Still maintaining that lead, a nice body length, like you said, 3 seconds, but good body length in front as he makes that turn. They're sitting in lane 2. No one else has made a bit of a lead, but lane 3 there for Henry Spardo. He was just pushing hard, but it's going to be lane number 2, Jordan Galicchio with a 2:19.16, and in second place, Henry Svoboda at a 2:21.05. So well raced, and he did maintain his speed, so fantastic effort.
And in maintaining that speed, he's dropped 10 seconds off.
10 seconds!
I have been absolutely... I mean, this is outstanding to still be dropping such vast numbers off at this point of the comp. These kids, truly phenomenal efforts. Let's see if we can get any more massive drops out of this fourth heat.
And they're off into the water now, maintaining that speed. In each race in this boys 12-13 event, something, fantastic is happening. The amount of PBs that are being broken at the moment, props to these boys. And it's so late in the day. If we're tired, we're not out there swimming. Imagine how they're feeling. And they're definitely going to be very good athletes. They already are. So
I mean, personally, I think my heart rate has been about the same as the athletes in the pool watching some of these races.
Absolutely, me too.
We've definitely been getting excited for what the swimmers have been able to do across the weekend. We've seen some very fast swims. I always love to watch our country athletes compete.
Yeah. And baffling at the ages that they are as well. Like, this is 12, 13 years, and they're dropping 10 seconds. It's incredible.
Bright futures to come, that's for sure.
We'll be watching some of them at the Olympics for sure. Now we're about a minute into this 200-metre race. Lane 4 just touching that 103 mark, which is Darby Blackwell from Seymour. Got about half a body's length ahead, but he's being followed very closely behind in lane 5 by Patrick Clark from Geelong there. So he's just got to get a little bit further in front, or we might see a bit of a leader change.
You know, this race was interesting because I thought we may have been missing a few more athletes from the pool, but it's just the fact these two boys out in front as they come up to the 150-metre mark are so far ahead.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we are going to see another huge drop in time.
I think
what
so
a race
too.
we've got on our hands once again out of the fourth heat.
Because they're sitting at 2:19 for their seed time, which is already incredible. But they're pushing on towards the end of this race. They're neck and neck now, touching that light. They turned at that wall exact same time there. So let's see who's got that fight left in them in these final parts.
The last few moments of the 200, and Patrick Clark came off the wall ahead. Darby Blackwell fought back, but I don't think he's going to have the room to get there. It will be
Patrick Clark, 2:11.72. So that's about, I can't do math, about 8 seconds. 8 seconds. That's just incredible. And coming in second is Darby Blackwell from Seymour there at a 2:12.14. And what a race. One more to go. Let's see what else these boys can produce. Alrighty, fifth and final heat here for the boys 12-13 200-meter freestyle. They're just resetting at the start as we're about to get underway. If this race is going to be anything like any of the other heats that we have seen, we are in for an absolutely spectacular race here. They're dropping up to, 10 seconds off of their PB, so it's going to be a very good fight. And these boys definitely know it too, that they've got to put in the hard yards. And I think we're going to have a very interesting first, and they're already out of here, absolutely hammering it down that pool length now. We're going to see a quick turn, and that speed has already been set and much higher than the last few races too.
They're looking good out of lane 4. Billy Main, Wodonga City. Another one to watch would be out in that far lane. Lane 8, Owen Barnes from Bendigo East.
He's just
powering along, isn't he?
He absolutely is. As soon as he jumped in that water, he absolutely put everything into this freestyle, and he has not stopped. He hasn't dropped back. He's continuing to put a body length between himself and his competitors, and most of his competitors too. Just having a look in lane 8 at Owen Barnes, he's pushing hard there, but it's still lane 4 here, Billy Main, with a whole body length in front of his other competitors.
59.77 under the minute, followed by lane 3 and lane 8, pretty close together.
And yet Billy Main is still pushing hard, spending a good amount of time underwater, but he knows that he's going to be getting the most out of his push and kicking here. It's not. As he approaches that line, there's a 133 compared to the next competitor coming in at 138. Huge gap.
Still the same order, 4, 3, 8. First, second, third. Billy Main out in front.
Just got to keep pushing here. Keep maintaining that lead. As you can hear, the crowd's going absolutely wild. They're letting everyone know not much left to go in this race, as we see lane 4 time keepers coming up to get a time of 2:05.33 for Billy Main out of lane 4. A fantastic time there, with his beating it by 5 seconds. 2:12 for the 23 for the third Haikang car coming in second position.
Yeah.
Fantastic swim there.
Yeah, third and fourth, very, very close. Owen Barnes just missing out.
Take your marks.
Event 89, heat 1 underway. We have the girls 14 and 15, 100-metre breaststroke. They approach.
This is definitely a quick event compared to the 200. Got 4 swimmers. Is it 4 or 3? 4 in the pool for breaststroke here today. So coming up to their halfway mark here for the 14-15 girls. Leader is in lane 6, Matilda Jones from Benalla, coming in 39.8, the halfway point. Pushing hard here. The girls out in the pool. Nia Chapman making a move in lane 5 to try and get ahead of her competitor.
Coming up to the finish line now. Neck and neck between lane 5 and 6. Nia Chapman looking like she's just going to get it.
And she touches that wall.
In 126.75, followed by Matilda Jones from Benalla, 127.96. And out of lane 4, Jade Howard, Kangaroo Flat in 129.72.
Take your marks.
Heat number 2 now of the girls 1500 metre breaststroke. Be a tough one to be finishing on the day with.
I certainly think it's going to be a competitive one, especially when we get to this 6th and final heat. We have a lot of these girls, really talented breaststrokers within country Victoria.
Yes, and we've got a nice evenness across the pool here, which is good to see, but we're going to see who's going to be hitting at the halfway mark. It's looking like lane 2 at 40.26, but 0.04 of a second later, lane 8, Holly Watson from Bendigo East touches that wall, so it's going to be very close between those 2 outside lanes. As they're pushing on, you can hear the crowd getting louder and louder for the swimmers. Breaststroke is one of those swims where every time your head comes out of the water, you've got someone cheering you on. So it's a very loud crowd event, which we love. Coming in now for the final 15 metres, as it's going to be looking like it's going to be a close one here, as lane 2 is coming in at 124.78. That's Pippa Brown from Geelong. Second is lane 7, Annabelle Myers from Ballarat Gold. And at 127.18 and 127.33 is Amelia Wilson from Ballarat GCO.
So into the water now, we have heat 3 of our girls 14, 15 years, 100 metre breaststroke. Quick start there out of lane 5. Jessica Teufel from the Bendigo Hawks. She'll lead us around in front of lane 3. Miranda Jans from Warrnambool. And those two separating themselves early in this race.
Jessica, Bendigo Hawks, lane 5. Playing the first half of the race in front. She does it in front of Miranda Jans from Warrnambool.
Doing a really nice job out there in the lead. She's got a really high stroke rate in this 100, and we do expect to see it a little quicker than our 200 metre breaststroke. Still want to utilise that little bit of glide or hit that streamlined position. She's going to maintain that lead down this final lap. I don't think she's going to be caught by Miranda Jans. Starting to push through, though, is Joni Grief out of lane 4. She's trying to make up a little bit of ground lost early, but it won't be enough to catch Jessica.
And she does it in 120.63. Followed by Miranda Jans, 122.65. And in lane 4, Jessica Teufel. Bendigo Hawks, 126.13.
Away we go here, the 4th of 6 heats. Seen some good times produced early on. A few of our racers across this weekend have scored some medalists from these early heats, so it can be done from anywhere. Leading us around will be Keziah Wolf over in lane 8. She turns in first, not far behind Luella Webb from lane 5. And those two going to be on the wall pretty close together.
Close together they are. Under a second between them. So they get into the second half of this race. Willa Webb, Bendigo East coming back. About half a lap left to go. The girls are starting to catch up. Brinkirk, Wodonga City, creeping in there. Will she be able to close this gap? I don't think she'll quite do it. Maybe she won't. Oh, lane 8, sorry. Desire Wolf Benella gets it 120.07. Lane 5, Luella Webb. Bendigo East, 122.53. Now to lane 4, Brinkirk, Wodonga City, 122.69.
Take your marks.
So our second last heat of the girls here. And we've just seen our first athlete to almost break under that 120 mark. So sitting at 120, that's our fastest swim so far. See what the girls here can do. They're all entries around 121. So certainly we'll be looking to break through into those 119s. Going out well is lane 7, Ruby Kenwright. She's had a great weekend too. Seen her creep up into some higher positions throughout the competition. She's going to lead the way, 37.15 ahead of lane 3, 37.63. That's Isabel Croato from South Gippsland Bass. And sitting in third place is out in lane 8, Zoe Benson, another one of our Warrnambool girls, as we push through to the 75-metre point.
And as they hit that 75-metre mark and come back for their final lap, out of lane 7, Ruby Kenwright from Warrnambool, that green cap going up and down. They are cheering her on from the back corner there. And it's all Ruby Kenwright. Oh, no, sorry, Isabel has just got her there, 119.72. Then Ruby Kenwright in second, 119.73. And then Sasha Raver from Geelong, 121.85.
Take your marks.
The big one now, 6 of 6 for the girls, 14, 15 years, 100-metre breaststroke. On entry time, only 0.2 separates your two fastest qualifiers out of those golden lanes in the middle of the pool. 4 and 5, Emily Croato and Taryn Aldred. Taking us away down the first 25, though, will be Taz. She's got a nice early lead, sitting up beautifully in the water, really powering through here. So Taryn goes into the 50. She'll turn in first ahead of Emily.
Yeah, Taryn Aldred, 34.14. Just in front of girl in lane 4, Emily. As they're about to make their final turn and come back to where they started.
Yeah, looked like maybe a little bit of ground made up by Emily Croato down that third 25. She's certainly moving through the water a lot quicker than Taz on this final lap, but that early speed looks like it's going to be the difference.
Gets it out of lane 5 in 112.04. Followed by lane 4, 112.36. Out of lane 3, Miller Albee from Bendigo East, 115.67.
Take your marks.
So now we have hitting the water, event 90, the boys 14, 15 years, 100-metre breaststroke, 4-time finals for this one. Last event for the 14 and 15-year-olds of the afternoon. Going through that first 25, nice and speedily there. Out of lane 3, Patrick Hunter of Wangaratta, one of the younger boys here, 14 years of age, certainly deciding to set the pace early on. So he'll go through 36.02 ahead of lane 4, which is Finn Angwin of Yarrawonga.
They make their approach for the finish line. Out of lane 3, Patrick Hunter, Wangaratta. Looks like he will get first. And he does touch in a 117.60. Coming in second, 121.25 out of lane 4 and lane 5 third, which is Thomas Bruce, Ballarat Gold in 122.85.
And we are underway for Heat 2 of the boys 14-15 100-metre breaststroke. Another tough event to be closing out the competition with, but they will be putting their absolute all into this. Nice and even across the first 25. We'll see now if anyone is going to be making a break. Quite a long way underwater for a lot of these boys. Good way to conserve energy, especially with breaststroke. And we've got lane 2 coming in with half a body in front at a 33.7. That's Xavier Gray from Sale.
Xavier Gray to the second half of his race, extending his lead. Over lane 3. Hugo Pankhurst from Warragul.
Touching that wall, and see how he spends an ample amount of time underwater. Very smart strategy there. The least amount of breaststroking, in my opinion, the better. But there is going to be a few other contenders coming to try and take his place. We've got lane 5 here getting close, but it's no match for Xavier Gray there with a 112.98. Second is Lyndon Chaplin from Tarralgon with 114.48. And third in lane 3, Hugo Pankhurst with a 116.35. Good race from those boys. Heat 3 of the boys 1500 metre breaststroke about to get underway as they enter the water here now. Another long, mostly half the pool length underwater as they are competing here quite well, very evenly. Nice, good turn there. Lane 2 is looking good here again with Taj Reid from Warragul. He's got quite a bit of length again in front of him, touching the wall at 34.45. That's Taj Reid.
It could be anyone's race here. Taj Reid out of lane 2. Manages to get into his last lap first. His head pops up first. Maybe not far behind. It could be lane 8 or lane 3.
Elijah Verco in lane 3. Lane 8 is Bryce Scott, and we can just see here now that it's going to be very, very close. But Taj takes the win there, 114.42. Taj Reid from Warragul, 115.89 for Elijah Verco from Tarralgon, and a 116.94 for lane 8 Bryce Scott from Ballarat. Another good race there. Very close to their seed times, those ones. And we've got our fourth and final heat coming up for the boys 14-15 100 metre breaststroke. These boys will be putting in their absolute all.
Take your marks.
Really good underwater there. First head to pop up was lane 4. Just Jaden Tran from Traralgon.
Again, conserving a lot of energy, but lane 4 again was the first head to pop up, doing quite well, nice and quick strokes, getting the head and body, upper body right out of the water. Fantastic form across the board, but lane 4 hitting at that halfway mark, 32.03. That is Jaden Tran there from Traralgon in the lead, but will he be able to maintain it with everyone on the sideline supporting their team as their heads pop out of the water? Honestly, one of my favourite events to hear the crowd getting around these swimmers.
As he's halfway through his final lap, Jaden Tran out in front, possibly ahead.
He's absolutely going to bring this one home. At a 108.96, Jaden Tran, 110.87. In lane 2, which is Harriet Rankin from Warragul. Finished it off nicely.
Take your marks.
We're underway now. Event 91, the girls 16-17 200 metre freestyle. They're on their way. A nice freestyle to finish up their competition here, nice and fast.
Yeah, this is our last female event on the program and the last swim, obviously, for our 16-17 years age group. We just have the 3-time finals out of this one in the water. Number 1, going through that first 50, nothing separating the first 4 swimmers, about 0.3 between them. It will be lane 5, though, with the slight advantage. Sophie Ryan of Warrnambool. This is the part of the swim where we want to see athletes to start to lift. It's the middle 100. You talk about the bookends of a race, and that's the first and the last 50. We know everyone's going to come home well in that final 50 and give it everything they've got. This is the part where you have to try and keep that focus and keep that pressure on.
And out in front at this halfway point, lane 4, which is Genevieve Dennis there from Warragul, getting a 104.95. Good timing there, but a long way to go in the race.
Yeah, certainly. She really has started to pull away through that second 50, which is good to see, and she is going to maintain that here through the third one. Nice underwaters, holding that streamline, doing a pretty good job of staying closer to the center of the lane, which is something you always want to be looking for. You don't want to be swimming any extra distance, circling around from side to side, and that's really started to pull her away from the group. Turning in second there will come from lane 2. That's Emily McMillan of Bendigo East. She really pushed through well in that third 50, and they're starting to race for home here, trying to catch up to Genevieve.
She's definitely put herself in a very good position here to finish this race off. And there is swimmers coming up behind her, but I don't think they will be able to match that pace that she has set here. She's got at least 2 bodies lengths in front and finishes at a 2:14.70. That is Genevieve Dennis. Coming in second in lane 2 was Emily McMillan from Bendigo East with a 2:17.42. And they're off here in the second heat of the 16-17 200 metre freestyle. And we've got a nice little lead here from lanes 8 and 5. They've pushed ahead the pack just a little bit there.
Yeah, certainly going out really well through this first 50. It will be Hannah Buchanan hitting the wall first, sub 30. So setting herself up beautifully here if she can hold on. 29.36. Also under that 30-second barrier was our swimmer in lane 1. So keep an eye on those outside lanes because 1 and 8, nothing really separating them, Claudia Croato and Georgie Vague, through this first 75.
They both hit the wall and turned there at almost at the exact same time, so it is very close between those two. It's very weird having such an odd split across the lanes.
Yeah, certainly really spread out as they hit the 100-meter mark. It will still be Hannah Buchanan, 102.56, ahead of Georgie Vague. And now Claudia sits in third, but as we said, there's not really much of a gap between them, about 0.1. And that looks like it's almost about to shift again. As we approach the three-quarter point of our 200-meter freestyle out of the second heat. In our last lot of 200s, we saw a couple of medalists come from the heat before the final one, so it's certainly not out of the question. Hannah Buchanan really putting on a nice performance here. We'll keep an eye on the time. They come in to turn for that final lap. She's extended that lead she set. The girls in 8 and 1. A little bit more between them on that turn, probably about half a second now between Georgie Vague and Claudia Croato down to the finish line.
Very good finish there.
And it will be Hannah Buchanan in a 2:10.27. Claudia storms home final 25 to 15.35. And then it will be Georgie 2:15.84 out of heat 2.
Take your marks.
So this is our third and final heat of the girls, 16, 17 years, 200 freestyle. The time to beat is 2:10. Only 2 athletes in the field have done that prior to today. Let's see how many more we might be able to get there. We are missing our swimmer out of lane 5, so that opens the door for some of these outsiders to maybe steal a medal in their final event of our 2026 UNCLOUD Victorian Country Short Course Championships. It is a nice tight race in the middle of the pool between the two girls from Ballarat, one from Ballarat Swimming Club, the other from Ballarat Gold, and that is Ava Candy out of 4 and Claire Matheson in lane 3.
Ava Candy has had quite a day. She's swum quite well across the board in all of her events, so it's good to see her towards the end of the day in this 200-meter freestyle event and see what she can do.
Yeah, both of those girls turn through on the minute. Ava ever so slightly in front of Claire. They've got some nice distance between themselves and the rest of this race. Now, the rest of this race looked to be racing the time set in the previous heat. During that first 100, they sat pretty similarly to where Hannah Buchanan was in her front end pacing. As we come up with 50 metres left to swim, though, Ava now starting to push ahead of Claire. That gap has increased now to a second between them.
Ava's still out in front, maintaining that lead just slightly. But there's going to be a big push coming in soon. We could see some position changing, but
I don't think we're going to get that. Ava Candy motoring home down the final 25. She's going to take this one comfortably in a time of 2:04.79. Claire Matheson in second, 2:06.77. And just sneaking under that 2:10 mark out of lane 6 in a 2:09.52 will be Maya Roberts from South Gippsland Bass. Great efforts from our girls in their final event of the weekend.
Take your marks.
So we now hit the water with our final event of the day, of the weekend, of the session. And this is event 92. The boys 16, 17 years, 200 meter freestyle. Once again, we will see 3-time finals coming out of this one. Leading us through the first 50 from lane 3 will be Campbell Nicholson of Warragul. Turns in at 26.86. Ahead of lane 2, 27.71, Noah Stevens. And then it will go across the pool to lane 6, 29.25, Flynn Cormack.
Nice lead there from lane 3, Campbell Nicholson. He's approaching the 100-meter mark, touching at 57.10. And in lane 2, Noah Stevens coming in at second place at this point in the race.
Yeah, Noah Stevens has done a great job across this weekend. He's a real fighter in these races, and I don't expect him to let this be an easy win for Campbell Nicholson. He's going to have to work, because here comes Noah as they come towards that 150-meter mark. The early gap has now disappeared. They'll be pretty much turning simultaneously onto this wall.
And there we go, within 0.4 of a second. Incredible how quickly things can change out here in the pool, but that's what swimming is all about. Someone who may be leading all of the race may not eventually lead at the end. We see Noah Stevens just out in front now, taking a bit of pace, a body's length actually, in front of Campbell Nicholson.
Yeah, he's come home so well, and he is going to touch in a beautiful time, sub 2 minutes. Listen to the Geelong team scream on that one. That's a great swim there, 159.38. 13 seconds drop off at 16 years of age. Honestly, I'm going to say, I think that's unheard of. It will be Campbell Nicholson who touches in second there, 203.02, followed onto the wall by Oscar Borthwick in a 205.52.
About to get underway for heat 2 of the 16-17 boys 200-meter freestyle, the final event of this. One more heat after this one. Got a nice little lead now. The boys have really pushed hard in that first 50 to get some good pace going.
Yeah, they certainly have, and we've almost got 2 separate races occurring in this one. We're missing our middle lanes, therefore we've got 3 athletes on either side of the pool. And it's going to be a little bit challenging to see across there, but that's not going to sway them. They have just seen a 159 out of the first heat, so the standard is high in this final event of the day. Leading the way looks to be our swimmer out of lane 6, Joshua Fitzgerald of Warrnambool. Not far behind him will be Hayden Wilson of Ballarat in lane 3. We're also seeing a nice little push here as we approach the 100-meter mark by Ben Hynam of the Geelong Sharks.
And it's interesting, lane number 7, Ben Hynam there, touches that wall first at 59.02. And Joshua Fitzgerald, them being in their own race, like you said, touching second. They're really pushing hard here and breaking away from that second pack in the pool. It would be very hard to be out there and having a 2-lane difference between the race.
Yeah, it's certainly not the easiest way to swim, but really good opportunity to try and get a heat win, and I think that's what Ben Hynam's chasing after. He wants this one. He's really pushed through in that third 50, and the pace that he's sitting at now, we could see him potentially break under that 2-minute mark as well. It is going to be close for Ben. He's moving through nicely. He's got a pretty solid lead here ahead of Joshua as well as Hayden, who still sit in second and third. Just keeping a little bit of an eye on the clock. It's going to be tight. Can he get there? Oh, he just does. Well done.
Wow.
159.90 for Ben. He'll take the win out of heat 2. Second goes across to lane 3, Hayden Wilson, 203.43. And then Joshua Fitzgerald out of 6, 203.94. I'm excited for this last race.
Me too. If that first heat was the way that went, imagine what these boys are going to produce out here in this final event for the 2026 UNCLOUD Victorian Country Short Course Championship. And they're off. Nice, good swim out, and the pace has already picked up. They know, these boys know that they've got to get out there, and they've got to get out there hard and fast and maintain that throughout the race if they've got to beat 159.
Yeah, a couple of the swimmers in here have done it, but it's a different thing coming back after potentially having 8-9 swims across the weekend and being able to back up at this time of afternoon when you're already feeling tired. It just becomes a race in the pool, not really a race for the times. As we see lane 2 setting that speed up, Zayden Burton, like so often, he is one of those athletes with plenty of front end speed, and we'll look to see if the boys in the centre, maybe with that more distance background, can try to come home.
There's a few, yeah, definitely, that are just a little bit like a length in front, as we see lane 6 in Marley Sutherland, a name that we've heard quite a lot this weekend, coming out in front. But listen to that crowd. They're absolutely backing these boys to try and get a win on the board here for the final event.
Yeah, Marley really holding on to that little lead, but it is closing. Right next to him, you've got Thomas Costello trying to push up alongside and drag this field out. There's only 50 metres left to swim. They go through 127, 128.
It's going to be really close here. Look at them all. They're all absolutely putting their 110% in, even 200%.
So final turn, it will still be Marley ahead of Thomas. Moving through was Cody, but not so great off the wall. The middle lanes work to do. Zayden flying home as well. Down this final 5 metres. Looks like Thomas Costello might get there. And he gets it. 157.50 ahead of Marley Sutherland. 157.89. And then the early speed, Zayden Burton holds in there for a 158.48 to touch in third place. And what a way to finish this racing weekend. 2 days of vicious competition and an exciting end to what has been a fantastic meet. Thank you guys all so much for tuning into our live stream. We look forward to seeing you at our next Swimming Victoria event, the State Age Championships, on August 28th.
We'll see you then.
Who have volunteered their time to make this weekend happen. I'd also like to thank all of the volunteers who have helped across the weekend, and to the swimmers, coaches and spectators, thank you very much. We do ask that you hang around. We do have some presentations very shortly, so if you could please stay for the presentations, that would be very much appreciated.